Okay, guys. So, finished up with the breakout rooms. How did everybody feel? Thumbs up, middle, thumbs up, thumbs down. However you feel. Good, good, middle. Okay. Some of you are like, nah. It was all right. Now, the reason though I think that this is so important and why I think you guys, it's essential, even if you felt like mid-range with it, okay, shocked with it, however it was, okay, is that like I said, that means your first time doing it, you get to do it here, you get to mess up here, you get to sound clunky here instead of on your first appointment, okay? And once again, did you kind of realize what I was saying? Is that by the time you read it, you're not saying the wrong words, you're trying to figure out how you want to say everything. And that's the only thing you guys are going to have to practice. And that's why we want you guys to go over the script over and over. Say it out loud. Say it in front of a mirror. Say it to your dog, okay? But the more you practice it, the more you're going to get comfortable with that how, okay? And it's not going to have any issues with the what. Cool? Perfect. Well, I'm glad you guys got to, get it out of the way. Some of you got to go more than once, so I'm happy that you guys got to, test that out. And I'm sure by the second, third time you did it, you probably felt more confident as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, pass it over to Mr. Thomas, so he can go over the big things today.
All right, all right, all right. Everybody take out your notes. Fresh page of notes for me, please. Top of the morning, top of the morning. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is this concept of value. The premise of yesterday, today's training, and tomorrow, the premise of training in general is to teach you this concept of value. It's the most important part of sales. It's the only thing that matters when you're selling a product. I want you guys to know how good these knives really are and why we sell so much. So join me in the chat box. Let's just establish a baseline. What is value? Join me in the chat box. What is value? Christine, I'm going to have Essence call you. Join me in the chat box. What is value? What is this concept of value? Cost, how good something is or worth. So Nana, I would say worth and value are the same thing. So what determines something's worth? You said how good something is. Upholding great worth for something. Great. So Jelena, what determines the worth, right? What would you say great worth is? The quality, Abby, love that. Quality. Importance, usefulness of something, how much you get out of something compared to what you had to do to get it. Usefulness, great. Most of you have half the answer. Sam's reading my notes. That's pretty cool, man. So it comes down to two things, right? It's value versus price. It's value versus price. So to break that down even further, it's what you get for what you pay. What you get for what you pay. So obviously, if you get more out of something than what you pay for it, it's an easier decision to buy. All right. So this is your first major lesson in marketing and sales. Christina and I, over the next half hour to an hour or so, it's basically be like a semester's worth of college, right? So take really great notes because we're going to go quickly. All right. So here's the concept of price, right? Now we're talking about the cool thing about us being like the company that we are is that we have a specific price or a specific product that we can associate price with rather than just being a class. We have price of just a generic thing, right? So this is the price of Cutco. Now the price of Cutco doesn't really change too much. The only time it ever increases is to match inflation or to match rising steel prices, just like any other company, right? The cost of making the knife or inflation causes the price of it to increase, right? You guys have seen this happen before, like iPhones get more and more expensive every year. Same thing with Cutco, right? So here's the price. Doesn't really change too much except for the market, right? Now, where do you guys think the value of Cutco is compared to the price? Do you think the value is below? Do you think the value is equal to, or do you think the value is above? Show me with your hands, compare it to your head, right? Do you think the value is below, equal to, or above the price? What do you guys think? Somebody saying about equal, somebody saying above. Jamie's like way above, love that. Nana's way above. So if we were just talking about just the materials and the craftsmanship and just the basic features of just the knife of Cutco, I would say that the price is equal to the value, right? Because we're very comparable to every other high quality brand out there. But on top of that, we also what? We also back everything with a forever guarantee. So we fix, replace, and sharpen it for free forever. They can pass it down to their kids, their grandkids, their grandkids' kids. They can pass it down to the grandkids' kids. The same guarantee is always going to apply. Chips, cracks, breaks, bends, melts, fades, stains, goes dull. It is covered. Like literally, Damon, you could go out in the street and find a Cutco knife on the street, send it back, and they will replace it, sharpen it for free. So would you guys agree that the value of Cutco far exceeds whatever price customers pay for it? Hell yeah, right? And that's part of the reason why we sell so much. But the key is you have to take the value from down here, because that's where it starts at the demo 0, to up here. That's the whole point of your demo, is to show them the value of Cutco and why it makes sense for them. Something important to note for this is you remember that you're not selling Cutco. You do not sell Cutco. The extent to which you sell Cutco is like, Abby, you're the one that shows up, nods and smiles and writes up the order, right? But like you're not actively trying to sell the product, because what does Cutco do? It sells itself. Something for your notes, write this down. Cutco sells Cutco. And this is important to remember, because Sam, I know you're probably excited. Like, can't wait to sell so many people Cutco. Remember, like, you don't sell Cutco. Cutco sells Cutco. And the more I figured that out, the easier my appointments got, because I wasn't focused on closing the sales, focused on building great relationships, and that led to more sales, right? So remember, Cutco sells Cutco. Now, there's 3 things that you want to do in your appointment to build the value, to take the value from here to here, right? First one is to follow the manual, right? Because it builds 100% of the potential value for you. It makes it really easy. Second thing is to play all the food cutting videos. You don't want to skip those, because that's how you show off the product. And the third thing is to have a lot of fun. I know, weird, Jasmine. I said had fun at work, right? But you want to have a lot of fun. Now, something for your notes. I want you to write this big, bold, all caps, double underline, 15 circles, 473 like different colored pencils and crayons. Like, if you got the highlighters and all that stuff, go crazy for this right now. All right, 3 words. You guys ready for them? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. All right. Price doesn't matter. Price doesn't matter. Good afternoon, Jordan. Grab some notes for me, please. We're right into it, and you're going to have to play some catch up. Price doesn't matter. I know what some of you are thinking. Sam's like, Tommy, what are you talking about? Of course, price matters. And I'm going to challenge you and say, absolutely no, it doesn't, right? Really quick, just to get a baseline, how much do you guys think $2,000 is? So show a comparative to your head. Do you think $2,000 is a little bit amount of money? Do you think it's an average amount of money, or do you think it's a lot of money? What do you guys think? And it's like, not that much. Abby's like, it's an average amount. Jasmine's average amount. Sam's average amount. Dame's average amount. The answer is it kind of depends, right? And so I want to prove this concept of price doesn't matter to you real quick, okay? Now, I have this Pilot G207 gel pen, all right? I'm not sure if you guys have seen these pens, but they are by far best pens you can get on the market. So a couple things about it, right? First of all, the ink on it and the writing on it, super smooth, right? And I use the 07 thickness because it's not too thin where it feels like chicken scratch against the paper. But it's also not like super thick like the 09 where it just globs up all over the place. It's terrible. So super smooth writing. It has the rubber grip on it so my hand's not slipping while I'm writing. Has the click in, click out feature like classic pens. Has the clip so I can hook it onto my suit jacket and always have a pen with me. And what I like about it as well is, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but you can actually just buy the ink cartridges for this pen. And so that way, when your pen runs out of ink, you don't have to throw away the whole pen and waste a lot of plastic and hurt the environment. You can just buy the replacement ink cartridges. Makes it easy. Now, this pen right here is my favorite pen. I will sell it to you if you want to get it today for $2,000. If I gave you guys until midnight tonight, who's going to find a way to come up with $2,000 for this pen? Show of hands. Not a single one of you. Jasmine, that's a pity raising of your hand. I know you're not serious. All right. It's okay, right? Now, I want to illustrate this another way. Everybody close your eyes for me. We're going to go through a visualization exercise. I can tell if your eyes aren't closed, by the way. I can see all of you. So I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to picture this scenario. I'm going to walk you through a scenario. You ready? I want you to close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes. Yeah. I want you to picture it's Christmas morning or your birthday, right? Whatever you care about most. And imagine you get a little box and you open it up and there's a brand new set of car keys in there. I want you to picture walking outside And on the parked on your driveway or parked right out front is your absolute dream car. Is it a Lamborghini? Is it a Ferrari? Maserati? Is it a Tesla? Is it a Ford F-150? Chevy Silverado? Is it a motorcycle? Is it a 1967 Corvette? Is it a Volkswagen bus? Like, what are you looking at? Keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed. What color is it in? Right? What color is the paint finish on it? Check out the rims. Stylish rims. Dig it. Now imagine opening the car door for the first time, stepping inside, revving up that engine. Woo! Listen to that purr. All right. Now check out the sound system. Turn up the volume. It's playing your favorite song, of course. All right. Love that. Now look at the back seat. Everybody turn around, look at the back seat. What kind of interior do you got in there? Right? Is it soft like linen type? Is it a leather? All right. Now everybody open your eyes. Everybody have a pretty spicy car in their head? Hell yeah. Right? So what's cool, by the way, your goal should be to what? Like buy that car at some point, right? Be in a position where you can. But what's crazy is that dream car that you're just picturing right now. I have that car in my garage. It's brand new, nothing wrong with it. Right off the factory floor. I just have no use for it. And I'll sell it to you, title and everything, nothing wrong with it, for $2,000. Just want to get it off my hands. If I gave you guys until midnight tonight, who's going to find a way to come up with $2,000 for that car? Answer is every single one of you. Right? Wait. Hold on. You guys couldn't afford my $2,000 pen, but you can find a way to get that car, that dream car, for $2,000. So you guys notice something. That price never changed. So what had to have changed then? The value, what you're getting for what you're paying. And in your mind, that dream car, the perceived value far exceeds the price that we were talking about. And so it's an easier decision to buy. You guys getting this? Does this make a little bit more sense? So everybody has money to spend. They just spend it on different things. And as long as value exceeds the price, it's an easy decision to buy. A couple of real life examples of this would be like, let's say you walked into your kitchen and the refrigerator is broken, right? Eggs are rotten, milk is spoiled, the whole nine. What are you, or maybe your parents, going to go out and do? You're going to go buy a brand new refrigerator immediately. Why? Because the value of the fridge in the home far exceeds whatever price you're going to pay for it. Even though a new refrigerator costs anywhere between $1,500 to $5,000. But value exceeds price, right? Let's say you're driving down the freeway and all 5 tires on the car blow up, even the spare in the trunk, all at the same time, because you know that Vegas heat, whoo, it's crazy. What are you, or maybe your parents, going to go out and do? You're going to go buy 5 brand new tires. Why? Because the value of the vehicle far exceeds the price of the tires that you're going to pay, right? Being able to move from one end of town to the other, whether it be for work, for picking up the kids from school, whatever it is, far exceeds the price. Are you guys starting to understand this a little bit more? Great. So again, it doesn't matter what the budget is. I don't care if you feel like a customer is the broke, or you feel like they're super rich. Doesn't matter what their budget is. Everybody has money to spend. They just spend it on different things that they value, right? So your goal for your appointment is to show the value in Cutco, why it makes sense to invest in Cutco. So that being said, it's important to understand our customers and our market. Looking around this Zoom call today, it's important to realize that you are not our target market, right? Like Jasmine, you might be like around there, right? But like everybody, like you guys aren't really our target market, right? Our target market is like 30+ soccer mom who has the kids, drives a minivan, has a career, whole nine, right? You have to put yourself in their shoes and not think like an 18 to 25-year-old student. I'm not sure about you guys, but like when I first graduated high school, do you think like when I looked at my bank account, do you think I was focused on investing long-term for my future or buying a new home or anything like that? No, right? I would look at my account. I would look at my wallet. Right? I didn't even have a debit card. I would look at my wallet and be like, do I have enough money to go to Circle K and get a drink for $1? Do I have enough money to go to Jack in the Box for a couple tacos? You got anybody like me where you're like, hey, do I have enough money to go get some food real quick for myself? Cool. So you have to understand that like, hey, homeowners' expenses considerably higher and much different. Something worth writing down. The average family's expenses nationwide on a monthly basis, the average family's expenses nationwide on a monthly basis is $6,000 to $10,000 a month. Say that again. The average family's expenses nationwide is $6,000 to $10,000 a month. So would you guys agree that they probably view money differently than you do? Yeah, right? So my goal for the next 30 minutes, and Christina and I's goal, is to talk to you guys as if you're homeowners, right? Remember, we're not selling to college students on a college student budget. We are selling to homeowners on a homeowner's budget. And things for the home don't cost hundreds. Things for the home cost thousands. That's worth putting in your notes as well. Things for the home don't cost hundreds. Things for the home cost thousands. So we're going to be talking about the prices of some of our competitors. We're going to talk about some of the pricing of like what just people spend money on in the home. And honestly, some of these prices are going to surprise you, right? And Damien's going to be like, Tommy, people spend $5,000 on a Japanese set of knives? The answer is yes, all the time. But you also have to think like, when's the last time you personally went shopping for this kind of stuff? If I had to venture to guess, the answer is probably never. And even if you went with mom to Williams Sonoma, like, were you really paying attention? No, you're like, I'm so bored. I'm going to just be texting my friends the whole time, right? So I want to help educate you guys on what people spend money on different brands and some of our top competitors. And Christina will go more in depth about what people spend money on in their home and how what your spending habits compare to that. Okay. So we're going to talk about 4 different brands here. Okay. Before I go over that, when comparing Cutco to the top selling brands in stores, it's important to realize that every brand has different qualities. So the same company will make a low quality product, a medium quality product, and a high quality product. Why? Join me in the chat box. Why would a company do that? Why would they make low quality, medium quality, and high quality products? Pricing for different price range, be able to sell to more people. Sam, Damien, Jordan on the money, right? So it's to tailor to as many markets as possible, right? And the main reason why this is because when you go to a store to buy knives, is there anyone there to explain to you the differences between the different sets and the different brands? No, right? And even if you ask the lady, does she really know what she's talking about? No, she's like, well, this is nice and this is nice too, but this one's less expensive. So like, she doesn't really know anything, right? Now, can you take out a cutting board and a tomato and start slicing stuff up and test it out first? No, right? Can you, like, if you don't like it after using it for a few weeks, can you send it back and get a full refund? No. Can you split it up over a few months interest-free to make it more manageable on the budget? No, right? So understandably, most people buy based on price, right? People with a lower budget will buy lower quality stuff. People with a larger budget will buy higher quality stuff. People somewhere in the middle buy the middle class stuff, right? Now, just so you guys know, there's only one quality for Cutco because it's the best. If we made anything less, then we'd have to call it Crapco. And that doesn't sell very well. All right, another dad joke for you, right? There you go. No, but it's important to, I think this is worth writing down, that Cutco will never sacrifice our quality for price. Cutco will never sacrifice our quality for price. Does that make anybody feel good, by the way? Like, I don't know about you guys, that makes me feel really good. Because we offer a really high quality product that they'll use every single day, never after place. And I know I can feel confident that when a customer purchases from me, they're going to get the best stuff out there. And I imagine most of you wouldn't be here if we sold a cheap product made in China. Right? That's why I love Cutco, because high quality stuff that I can put my name behind. So let's talk about the 4 brands. The first one's Chicago, second one's Henckels, third is Wusthof, and the fourth is Shun. So those are the 4 brands we're going to talk about today. There's a lot of brands, but these are the 4 main ones. Now, while I'm pulling up my slides here, where do you guys think Chicago cutlery is made? Join me in the chat box. Where do you guys think Chicago cutlery is made? Chicago is a great guess, Nana. Chicago, Sam, is also a great guess. It's made in China. All right. Chicago's made in China. It used to be in the 70s and 80s. It was made in Chicago, and then they outsourced their production to China, and their quality has gone to dog water. It's terrible. Back in the day, they were about like a medium quality brand. But nowadays, since they're made in China, most of their stuff isn't very good, right? Wusthof and Henkel's are German brands. Shun is a Japanese brand. All right. So let's talk about it. So the first brand, Chicago, to be honest with you, this doesn't compare to Cutco at all. It's not even in the same league. It's nowhere even close to the same ballpark. Like Chicago is just not even close to Cutco in terms of quality, craftsmanship, nothing. But the reason we talk about it is because it's popular. Okay. It's basically the best of the worst. All right. Like if a customer is tired of the really crappy stuff from Walmart, this is like their next upgrade. That's usually what they go to. Okay. Now, generally they have wood or plastic handle knives. Okay. Now, plastic handle knives, has anybody had a plastic handle knife chip, crack, break, melt, stuff like that to them before? Great. The reason that happens is because plastic is super cheap, right? It's designed to be really cheap material, very cost effective, easy to make. And that's why they fall apart very easily, or they melt, they chip, all that stuff. Wooden handles, on the other hand, are absolutely, they're disgusting. They absorb everything. Liquids, bacteria, grease, germs, retained odors. It is illegal to use wooden handles in the back of restaurants because of sanitation concerns. Has anybody grabbed a wooden handle knife and it feels kind of sticky and tacky? Anybody know that feeling? Great. The reason it feels sticky and tacky is because there's things living, growing, and breathing within the fibers of the wood. So when you squeeze it, when you feel that sticky tackiness, that's all the crap inside the knife seeping out onto your hand. All that bacteria and grease and the germs and the odors that have been left over there from years of use is on your freaking hand. And what does mom do after she uses that knife? She pinches your cheek. She's like, oh, you're looking so cute today. It's on your face. It's disgusting. There's a reason they're illegal to use in the back of restaurants. There's a reason that they don't sell them in stores anymore. Christina was on an appointment when she was new. She was on an appointment with one of her assistant managers. And I love telling this story because, again, I despise wooden handles, okay? So Christina was on an appointment with her assistant manager. It was the assistant manager's appointment. Christina was field training, right? We talked about field training yesterday. And so they went to the customer's house. This is back when we drove to the customer's house, did some in-person stuff. And we would have the customer take out their knives. And it was super funny because the lady pulls out this big old chef knife with a wooden handle. And she was like, this is the best knife I have ever had. I use it for everything. Nothing Cutco makes could possibly compare to this knife. It's the best thing I've ever had. By the way, do you think the assistant manager was fazed by that at all? No, he was like, I'm going to just keep plowing forward because I know I sell the best product of its kind, right? And so he was going through the demo and they're going through everything like normal. And at some point, like somebody's elbow or something hits the customer's knife off the table, right? And it falls off the table and the handle hits the tile and splits open. So naturally, everybody looks. And kid you not, when they looked at the wooden handle knife, when it was broken open, 2 maggots crawled out from the inside of the knife. Christina, like when she told me the story, she's like, I was trying not to throw up on the appointment. Like it was disgusting. And what I love about the story is that the assistant manager handled it perfectly. He looked at the knife with the 2 maggots crawling out of it. And then he looked back at the customer and he was like, so you use that one knife for everything? That customer immediately threw it away and ended up buying a Homemaker Plus 8. Right? I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you the fact that, like, hey, if you have wooden handles at home, they're disgusting and you should throw them out. Right? But most people just haven't been educated about it. Right? Now, the second thing I wanted to highlight is there's no guarantee on Chicago cutlery. Right? So when you break it, you have to buy a new one, or you just SOL. Right? The blade that they use is a stainless steel. Now there's technically 2 like polar opposites of steel that you could use. You could use a pure stainless or a pure carbon. Most high quality brands use something in the middle, right? But they don't sell carbon steel blades in the stores anymore. It's illegal to sell carbon steel blade anymore because of sanitation concerns. Has anybody been to like grandma's house, like maybe growing up or maybe back in the day, and there's like a like a knife in the drawer that looked like a rusty muffler. Like it just looks super faded on the steel. You know what I'm talking about? So that's a carbon steel knife. It's usually at the bottom of the drawer in the back, right? The reason grandma still has that knife is because it's still sharp. Carbon steel, like pure carbon, is really, really good at retaining an edge. But it's really, really difficult to resharpen yourself, but also rusts and corrodes. And what happens with the rusting and the corroding is a bunch of holes will appear on the steel, and bacteria and all the germs, just like with the wooden handles, will get caught within the steel. So all that fading, all that like faded steel, if you were to rub it against a paper towel, the paper towel will turn black from all the crap that's on the knife. And you have to think that when people cut stuff, where does that stuff go? In their food and everything that they're eating. It's disgusting. Now, stainless steel, on the other hand, is mostly what people sell now in stores, just because it's stainless steel and it's pretty cheap to produce. It's a very soft steel. It doesn't retain an edge at all. Has anybody had a knife go dull on them pretty quickly, like within a month or so? Great. That's because it's a pure stainless steel blade, right? The sharpest it'll ever be is right out of the package. It's impossible to resharpen it back to that point because of how soft the blade is. It just doesn't hold an edge. So most high quality brands have a balance between the two, and I'll talk more about that when we talk about like how it compares to our competitors, right? Now the set of Chicago cutlery lasts about 2 years. Now, do you guys think it's sharp for 2 years? No, it's sharp for maybe 2 months, right? And they kind of just deal with it. But most people end up replacing it every couple of years or so. The price for their set that's similar in size to the Homemaker set. So just so you guys are aware, like the Homemaker set that we make is a standard size set. Most, like 99% of companies have a set similar in size to it, okay? So we're going to be comparing Cutco's Homemaker set to what the Homemaker set would be to these other brands. And the price for their Homemaker set's about $250. Some of you are looking at that, you're like, $250 for the cheapest stuff out there, like the best of the worst? Yeah. Steel, everything costs money. Let's move on. So Henckels is the #1 brand sold in stores. They are our top competitor. They sell about $50 million a year. If you guys remember, Cutco sells about 300 million over the past 2 years. So they're the closest competition, but they're not that close, right? But that being said, they're still a really high quality brand. And it's important not to like talk smack about our competitors. Because if you talk smack, like we compare to these people for a reason. They're really good quality stuff, right? Henckels, Wusthof, Schön, they're really good stuff. Like Damien, if Cutco didn't exist, I'd be like, hey, get one of these sets because they're all going to be really good quality. And the reason I say that is because, hey, these are why these sets are good, but here are the drawbacks, and that's why people buy Cutco. Versus these brands are crap. Now I'm comparing Cutco to crap, and that doesn't look good for our brand, right? So Henckels, #1 brand sold in stores, but they have 10 plus different lines of quality. They have low quality, medium quality, high quality stuff. It's kind of like, easiest way to understand this is like, is anybody familiar with like how BMW has like a 200 series, a 300 series, a 500 series, and a 700 series? Like 700 is the best stuff that they have. 200 series, like the economy line. Same with Tesla. You guys notice how like there's economy Teslas and then you can buy the really expensive ones? It's the same thing with Henckels. They have different lines of quality. Now you could buy a brand called Henckels International at Target, like right now. Like Jasmine, if you wanted to, you could go buy that right now. It's a set that's about $300. And some people will buy that set and think, I have Henckels. I have the best stuff out there. But do you think they actually have good quality Henckels? No, they have the cheap stuff that's made in China. There's only 3 lines of quality of Henckels that are made in Germany. Those are the best ones out there. The way to tell the difference between the qualities of the brand is the logo. If it has 1 guy standing with the spear, it's low quality, it's crap. If it has 2 guys dancing together, it's high quality, it's made in Germany. So 1 guy equals bad, 2 guys equals good, all right? Now their best line historically was called Twin Cuisine. This is the one that compares to Cutco. The guarantee they have on it is a manufacturing defects guarantee. Now, when I say manufacturing defects guarantee, this means that if they make the knife incorrectly, then they'll send you or replace it with a new one. Do you guys think that a company with its sole purpose being to make knives, do you think they mess them up very often? Not really. So is there really a guarantee on the knife? No. And if they break their $300, $400 chef knife, guess what they have to do? They have to go buy another one, right? They use a really high quality steel. I'll talk more about the steels a little bit later. but the set lasts about 10 to 15 years, but requires frequent honing. They are not dishwasher safe because they rust and corrode, and it needs more sharpening. So let me explain the difference between honing and sharpening really quick. So honing is anybody seen that little steel rod that comes with the set? It kind of looks like a lightsaber. Maybe you played with it as a kid. It's in the drawer. Nobody uses it. Great. So that's called a honing rod. Now, if you look at the Henkel's like user manual, it says to use that honing rod every single time you use the knife. So it means you should hone it and touch up the edge every single time you use it. Do you guys think mom is doing that? Heck no. Do you think most customers are doing that? Heck no. And even if they do you think they're doing it the correct way? Most of the time, no. So what happens is that because of the quality of steel has a higher carbon content in it, you have to consistently hone it to maintain that edge. Eventually, the knife will still go dull, and you have to take it to a professional sharpener. Professional sharpener for a set costs anywhere between $30 to $100. You have to do that every year or two. So if you look at the next 10 years, that's anywhere between $500 to $1,000 just on maintaining the sharpness of your set. It's an investment. It's kind of like, the easiest way to relate this is like Lamborghini parts are more expensive than Toyota parts, right? High quality means high maintenance. That's the point here. But most people don't understand that with the Henkel. So they buy the really high quality set. It goes dull pretty quickly because they don't take care of it. And then their set of Henkels is just as dull as that Chicago set, right? And I think that's important to know is like, hey, people buy, but don't always necessarily take care of it. And what's cool about Cutco is we'll sharpen it for free for them, so they don't have to worry about it. The price for their set's about $2,000. List price is about $2,300, but again, you can find it on sale for $2,000. Let's talk about the other brands. These are very similar to Henkel, so I'm gonna kind of just breeze through these. So Wüsthof, their best line is Icon Blackwood, IKON Blackwood, really high quality German brand. If I had to choose between the two, I'd probably choose between Wüsthof because their stuff's a little bit better. Same thing, manufacturing defects guarantee, similar quality steel, lasts 10 to 15 years, but requires frequent honing. Not dishwasher safe, needs more sharpening. The price for their set's $3,435. Sometimes, like Damon, if you wanted to, you could find this on sale for about $2,000 to $2,200, and that's getting it for a steal. Really, really great value, but again, usually it's about $3,400. Last brand is Shun. Shun is a really popular Japanese brand. They're getting more popular in the States. Again, 10 plus different lines of quality. They generally have higher quality steels and stuff as well, like medium to high quality stuff. Their best line historically was called Kaji. Same thing, manufacturing defects guarantee, similar quality steel, requires frequent honing, needs more sharpening. The price for their basic set's about $5,000. You can sometimes find it on sale for about $3,500, but most of the time it's usually for about $5,000. So if you guys are curious, like where we get pricing from, we're comparing this to information we got from Williams Sonoma, right? Williams Sonoma is historically known for selling really high quality stuff for the home for the best prices. And that's why we talk about it, right? Has anybody shopped at Williams Sonoma before? Okay. So if you were to go shopping at Williams Sonoma, just a general gauge as to pricing, right? For the price of quality cutlery, if you spend at least $1,000, you're gonna have a good set. Anything less than $1,000 is not gonna be good. You spend at least $2,000, it'll be a great set. You spend at least $3,000, you're gonna have the best of the best. And there's no payment options for these. They can't split it up over a couple months. They can't try it out first. So most customers just pay this in full with a credit card and pay off the bill, right? So before I go over like specific comparisons of Cutco to our high quality competitors and like specific differences and how we compare, I wanted to play this video for you about our production process. Now this is featured from a show called Modern Marvels. Has anybody heard of that show before? Maybe they watched it growing up. Great. We were featured on Modern Marvels. We're also featured on a show called How It's Made. Has anybody heard of that show before? Great. So we're on both of them, right? And basically they highlighted our production process because of how high quality it is. And some of you might be thinking, like Abby's probably thinking, oh, we're featured on Modern Marvels because we have a super unique edge, right? With the double D edge. And actually, we're not. We're featured on Modern Marvels for having the sharpest straight edge in the world. And it's because of our production process. We do a lot of extra steps to ensure the quality of what we make. So I'm going to play this video for you guys. I'm going to ask you to take really, really good notes because there's a lot of notes about our production process, how we make our products, and some really good information. And I'll ask for your biggest takeaways afterwards. And then we'll talk about the comparison of Cutco to our brand, other brands. And Christina, let me know if this is coming through okay.
Today, the most vicious enemy any of us attack with a razor-sharp blade might be a common vegetable. But there's no need to carry a 20-plus-inch katana blade into the kitchen. Cutco Cutlery of Olean, New York, claims to create the sharpest kitchen knives in the world. It all starts with a steel alloy containing chromium. For the perfect balance of strength, edge retention, and corrosion resistance, the metal will undergo a high-tech heat treatment.
We got the finest steel, but if we don't go through a proper heat treating process, we've wasted all our money. This will just show you here, this is not heat treated. So here's what we would have if we did not heat treat this blade. It would bend in your home, it would not hold an edge.
In the first step of the brutal three-part heat treat process, a conveyor feeds newly stamped, unsharpened blank blades through a furnace.
Now we're going to put it in a deep freezer and freeze it to 120 degrees below zero for about 2 hours at temperature and pull it out.
After these two steps, the cold steel blades are far from finished.
What we would have now is a brittle part. And what you see here on the table is that here's some parts that have been heat treated and frozen, but they're very brittle. If I put this in, you can see here that it broke very easily.
So just so you guys are aware, like our high quality competitors, generally will stop at those first two steps, right? They'll superheat it. We superheat ours to 1,865 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we cool it to -180 below, right? And so most companies will stop at that, but it leaves the knife pretty brittle. So we do an extra step to ensure the flexibility of our blades. You'll see that here in a minute.
To overcome this problem, another furnace warms the steel again.
That will give us a tough part. Very much what we see right here in these knives that have been ground and finished, but you can see how they'll flex.
Now that each blank has just the right steel consistency, it's time to grind their edges. Each blank, now 95 thousandths of an inch thick, passes through an automatic grinder, which tapers its edge to just 18 thousandths of an inch. This is about 5 times as thick as a sheet of paper. But we've only gotten started. Now here comes the process that'll turn these edges into the world's sharpest. Operators manually press each blade, one side at a time, along a powered 4-inch wide moving conveyor belt, with a consistency not unlike sandpaper. In seconds, a barely visible light line appears on the rim. This is called the burr. Need a better look? The honing process grinds down the metal until the two faces meet each other at the edge. Once they do, one side of the metal curls over the other and produces the burr, which is a thin, nearly microscopic wire.
It's just a floppy piece of thread like hanging on the edge. And actually it bends back and forth, so you need to take it off until you get down to the strength of the edge.
So with our lower quality competitors, first of all, I think it's kind of cool that we hand sharpen all these knives. I think that's pretty awesome. But also our lower quality competitors generally won't take off the burr on the knife, right? They'll have a machine sharpen it and they won't take off the burr, which again leads to what you're about to see with the difference in the edge.
If the burr were not removed, the knife would act more like a saw.
It can still cut, but not well.
Erases the burr.
If we use a cloth buff, much as you'd use if you were polishing your car with an automatic buffer, the wheels are turning 3,600 RPM. So when they're turning, they're hard as a rock. What we're actually doing is polishing the edge, which actually buffs away the burr and makes it very smooth, so the edge actually glides through the foods that it's cutting.
Heated, ground, sharpened, and deburred. The cutting edge now measures a super thin 1/10,000th of an inch, 20 times thinner than a human hair. But this minute edge isn't the only measure of a sharp and effective kitchen knife. It must also keep its edge for as long as possible. What good is a knife if it can only slice well through its first pineapple? To prove its knives are superior to other brands, Cutco conducts a Catra test, an industry standard. The test simulates wear on the blade by forcing it through thin cardboard strips filled with fine granules of sand.
All right. So again, this is just to recap what he said. This is an industry standard test. That means this is how all companies test their knives. It's cardboard filled with sand. I'm pretty sure most of you aren't cutting stuff like that on a day-to-day basis, but like you can see how it's gonna show wear on the knife over time, right?
The test will measure not only the effectiveness of its first slice, but also of its 60th.
One of the important factors that the cutlery industry wants is how sharp is this knife going to be when you buy it? And, of course, the longevity. How long is that knife going to last?
For some perspective, a butter knife takes the stage first. It doesn't exactly make the cut.
Actually, it's supposed to be doing some cutting through on the test media. About all it will do is probably cut butter. It's not going to get through maybe one of our test media after 60 times.
Repeated tests help back up Cutco's claim that it's the sharpest knife you can find in a kitchen drawer.
Out-of-package sharpness will give us an average of approximately 30 cuts. Total card cut after 60 times gives us approximately 400 cuts of this test media.
Over time, however, even what's billed as the world's sharpest kitchen knife inevitably dulls. But the food it's cutting isn't necessarily the reason.
It's other things that the knife comes in contact that does the dulling. China plates or glass cutting boards or very hard other surfaces.
To combat the dulling effect, Cutco manufactures a blade with an unusual edge they call the Double D. Protruding points line the lower lip of the blade and protect the sharp cutting surfaces, which hide in upper U-shaped recesses.
What's going on here is the points are what's touching the glass plate. So what's being dulled are the points, not the upper parts of the edge.
All right. Join me in the chat box. What was your biggest takeaway? What was the thing that stood out to you the most from that video? Last part. All right, Damien, I'm going to ask you to highlight what the last part was. Like what of the last part? How thin the blade actually is. Yeah, and then it was like 1/10,000th of an inch. I'm like, okay. Sharpening process. How many times they test cut the knives, sharpening knives, and sharpening knives. Love that. 20 times thinner than a single human hair. Yeah, which is pretty cool. That's just hard to conceptualize. You know what I mean? Like that's just so small. And I think that's I think it's pretty cool. And also you guys notice that there's a lot of detail that goes into every step of the manufacturing process, right? I think there's just under 30 steps to make every single Cutco knife. It takes about 2 full weeks to make every single knife that we make. Most companies take less than half of those steps. And it's because we have so many opportunities, like we do a lot of quality control throughout it to make sure that we're offering the best of the best. We also have people that have averaged like 20 to 30 years working in a factory job, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about how Cutco compares to these other brands real quick. So the first big thing that sets Cutco apart is that we're made here in the USA. And as I mentioned, we pay American factory workers a lot of money to be experts in their field. Average factory worker has been working there for 30 years. That includes all the new hires and all the old people that have been there for 50 plus years. On average, they've been working there about 30 years. I think a lot of people retired recently, so it went down to like 20 or 25. But still, like, Damien, 25 years in a factory job on average. There's a lot of experience that goes into every single knife that Cutco makes versus being made overseas, right? Do you guys think people take pride in American-made products? Thumbs up or thumbs down. Do you think people like American-made stuff? Heck yeah, people love American-made stuff, right? Now, another big difference is the handle material, right? Our competitors generally use a polypropylene, which is, it's a great material, but it's a very soft plastic. It's the same thing that we use in our cutting boards. It just scratches easily, and it's like not super durable from like drops and such. And that's why we use it in our cutting boards, right? It's designed to like slice up nicely. Thermoresin is what we use. Thermoresin is very, very heavy duty. It's very similar to the material that bowling balls are made out of and football helmets. It's non-porous. So if you're to cut it in half, there's no gaps, no food can get caught inside. It's completely sanitary. Also, the rivets that we use are nickel silver rivets. So the rivets are what hold the knife into place, are these little things here. Nickel silver is the same material that a lot of diamond rings use to hold the diamond into place. So it doesn't expand or contract or loosen, because if you can imagine, if it did, people would be losing their diamonds from their diamond rings and wouldn't be very happy. And that's what we use in our handle for the rivets. Also, we use a wedge lock handle design versus just a common straight design. Now, what I like about the wedge lock design is you guys notice it has the grooves, right? You can see it there, and you can see it there. Now, these were specifically designed to lock your thumb and forefinger into place for better control and safety. When you wrap the rest of your hand around it, that groove fits nicely in between your hand. It's designed to relieve the pressure off of your joints, so it's a lot easier to cut long term. We're approved by the Arthritis Association for this reason for our handles. I have customers that are older that love Cutco because they can actually cut stuff now rather than their hand cramping and hurting. Also, we were featured in the Museum of Modern Art in New York for about 10 years just because of our handles. So you can confidently say that you sell the sexiest knives on the planet. All right. Appreciate the weird looks I got from that one, right? Also, the steel that we use is a high carbon surgical grade stainless steel. The specific grade is 440A, 440A. Do you guys think most customers are going to care about that? No, most customers don't care about the specific quality of the steel, but it's important for you guys to know in case they do ask. Now, to explain the differences, our competitors generally use a steel that has a higher carbon content. Henkel's uses a 420A, Wusthof uses a 440C, and Shun uses a VG10 Crow V5. Japanese steels are weird with the way they name it, but it's a very fancy Japanese steel, but they're all very similar. The biggest difference is that they have a slightly higher carbon content than our knives do. Now, knives have three properties, and they mentioned it in the video very briefly. It's edge retention, sharpenability, and corrosion resistance. So the mark of a good knife is having all three. But if you have one really good quality of that, you sacrifice the other two, right? Like stainless steel blades are really good at corrosion resistance, but they don't sharpen, and they can't be resharpened. They don't hold an edge very well, right? Yeah, Nana, the steel that we use is the same stuff that surgeons use. It's awesome. Figure if they could trust it in there, we could probably trust it in the kitchen, right? So with our competitors with the higher carbon content, it'll hold an edge really, really well, right? But they have to continuously maintain the edge. You guys remember me talking about this just a little bit ago. They have to hone it every single time they use it to maintain that edge. And because it's such a hard steel, they have to take it to a professional sharpener, even after they hone it all the time. And they usually have to do that every couple of years. It also is not dishwasher safe, so it corrodes more easily. It rusts and pits and stuff. And again, it's not resharpenable. Whereas Cutco uses the steel that we use because it's the perfect balance between all three. It holds an edge really well. It's easily resharpenable. The customers do get like a straight edge sharpener if they want to touch it up themselves, but it's easier when they send it back to us for us to be able to put a brand new edge on it and it still maintain that edge for a long time. And also, it's not going to rust or corrode in the dishwasher. So again, our competitors are designed to be high quality and high maintenance, where Cutco is designed to be very high quality, but low maintenance. Would you guys agree that the average soccer mom would rather just throw the knives in the dishwasher and know that she's still going to have a soft knife or a sharp knife when she uses it? 100%. And that's part of the reason why we outsell like Henkel's by 6x every year. Some of the other reasons would be the edge, right? Not only the straight edge, but the double D edge lasts about 10 years without sharpening. Whereas again, our competitors, they need constant honing and frequent sharpening. Everything we make is completely dishwasher safe. And probably the biggest difference is a forever guarantee. Is on top of all of this, on top of all the quality materials and craftsmanship and everything that we put into the knife, we also back it with a forever guarantee. We will fix, replace, and sharpen it for free for the customer forever. And we don't forever guarantee it because we think it's going to break down. Because you can imagine, like, if we made a cheap product and forever guaranteed it, like Damien, we wouldn't make much money because we'd have to be replacing it over and over and over again. No, we forever guarantee it because it's the best of the best. I've had customers that had their Cutco for 50 plus years and never sent it to the factory to get sharpened. And it's because of how we make it, the process that we make it in, super high quality. And that's why we forever guarantee it. So would you guys agree with all these benefits? Being American made, having the thermal resin handles with a wedge lock handle design, the best quality steel you can get made here in the USA, the double D edge, being dishwasher safe, having the forever guarantee as well. On top of that, would you guys agree that logically the homemaker price should be about $4,000? Does that make sense? Like where we get that pricing from? Okay, great. So I'm gonna have Christina help you guys with putting this price in perspective, because I know some of you are like, Sam's like, Tommy, $4,000 for knives, holy, like, that's a lot. So I'm gonna have Christina kind of like help break this down and make it make a little bit more sense for you.
I don't know why I get so excited about this part, but I do anyway. Exactly. I do a little dance for it. Anyway, so we're going to put price into perspective. And so as Tommy said, you guys are in a different market than your customers. And I think it's really important to understand the difference between budgets and spending habits, because my favorite example is, do you guys remember when you were in elementary school and you got $5 from like your mom or grandma? Okay. You felt excited. Some of you already were like, yeah, hey, I was rich. I had so much money. I could buy so many gumballs with my $5, okay? $5 is a lot when you're in elementary school, okay? But then you get to middle school, $5 isn't gonna cut it, okay? You get to middle school and now you got $20, okay? $20 for the weekend and you feel set. I don't know about you guys. See, you already know, okay? I don't know about you guys, but CC's Pizza was built right next to my school when I was in middle school, when they were like brand spanking new, like top notch, okay? And I remember feeling so cool when I got $20. So I was like, oh man, I was like, guys, CC's Pizza on me. I could take 3 friends, $5 buffets. Like I felt like the awesome, like the coolest person ever with $20 in middle school. But then you get to high school and $20 isn't gonna cut it. Okay, you could spend all of that at the snack shack in one day. You're like, all right, that's gone. All right, but if I gave Abby $100 in high school and just like, yeah, just go do whatever you want, she'd be like, oh well, okay. And she's like, oh, I got lunch, I got the movies. She's all set, okay. But then you go into your freshman year of college, okay, and $100 covers like the cover of your textbook, and you're like, where's the rest of it, okay? But if I gave Damien just $1,000 of spending money, like not even anything for school, just like here's $1,000 as a freshman in college, go do whatever you want, okay? He'd be pretty excited. He'd be like, all right, well this is something, all right? You're rolling if you got $1,000. Then after college, you graduate, you're trying to get your first place, okay? And $1,000 only covers like a third of your security deposit, and you're like, where's the rest of it, okay? And then after that, a few years go by, okay? You're trying to buy your first house. Let's just pretend it's not in this economy, okay? You're buying a $100,000 house, or I don't know, maybe you're really into like tiny homes, okay? Join me in the chat box, guys. Join me in the chat box, okay? Do you know percentage-wise how much you have to put down for a house? Just roughly. If you don't know, it's okay. Okay, you got 10%, got a 3%, 25, 29, so interesting numbers you guys are throwing out there, okay? Now, it does depend on the loan, okay? But it usually will be anywhere, at least to be competitive, it'll be anywhere from like 10 to 20%, okay? So let's say you're putting 20% down on a $100,000 house. That's $20,000. Even if you're putting 10% down, that's $10,000 that you're putting down as a deposit for the house, okay? So that means everyone on your list who owns a home has a lot more money than you think, okay? And are your customers living in $100,000 houses? No, they're not living in $100,000 houses. Okay, they're living in $300,000 or $500,000 houses, or even more. Okay, and bigger houses. So buying Henckels and Wusthof is kind of a joke. It is pennies. And I don't want to say that it's like not a lot of money, because I totally understand. Okay, $4,000 is a lot of money, but you have to once again put things into perspective, because when you think about it, the average college student is making anywhere between $3,000 to $6,000 in a year, maybe $10,000 if they're making a lot. So when I say $4,000, well, that's a lot. You're like, that's all of my money. I'm poor now, okay? Where the average homeowner, their expenses are like $3,000 to $6,000 a month, okay? And so it's a huge difference, okay? It's a huge difference. And that's why you have to put these things into perspective, okay? $4,000 is nothing for those customers, and that's why you have to put those things in perspective. A few grand for something someone's going to use every single day, is that a big deal? No. People buy cars all the time, okay? So you have to understand that your financial situation is way different than theirs, all right? And what you spend money on is going to be way different than what your customers spend money on, okay? Little things even you start to notice with your parents, okay? Does anybody's family shop at like Costco or Walmart or anything like that? Okay? Yes. Has your mom or dad ever just like filled up the cart and they get up to the register and it's like $400 or $500 or even $300 and you're looking at them like, huh, it's a lot of money. Like, oh my gosh. And they're just like, whoop, there we go. They're not like freaking out at the cashier like, oh my gosh, $400. Like what? Like, you know, they may jokingly point at you, be like, oh, you guys are expensive. But they don't care. They go swipe it. And then what do they go do? They go to the next store and they go buy more stuff. Okay? They're like, oh, we're not done. You know, I know we hit up Walmart, but you know, only Smith's has this. Only Winco has this. We got to go to Costco still. Okay? They go to all these other stores and still continue to swipe the card. Okay? So what you spend money on is way different than what homeowners spend their money on. Okay? Because some of the things that you guys buy, they think you're crazy. And some of the things that they buy, you think they're crazy. And you're like, why would you spend money on that? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm sure they do the same thing to you. They're like, Sam, why would you spend money on that? He's like, I like it. You know, don't judge me. It's my money. Okay? So that's what I want you guys to do, is I want you to pull out a piece of paper. And I just want you to make a small little list. Doesn't gotta be a big list, okay? But just make a small little list. What are some things that you guys spend money on? Okay? You were excited about, you were in the market for, but you know, other people just didn't get it. All right. What are some things you spend money on? It could have been the shoes, could be the hair, could be the makeup, could be the clothes. Maybe it's the game systems. I don't know your lives. Okay. But I want you guys to write some stuff down. Okay. What do you spend money on? You were excited about. Other people just didn't get it. Okay. Or they called you out. Like, why would you spend that much on this? And you're like, well, I like it. Leave me alone. Okay. If you feel comfortable sharing, 100%, feel free to. Just make sure it's appropriate. Okay. If you want to share, feel free to. Just make sure it's appropriate. Throw it in the chat box. And this isn't the part where I call you guys out. Yeah, we're actually going to try to see if we have anything similar between each other. Tattoo stuff, online games. Okay, throw anything in there. Like I said, I just want to see how much, like, similar, and even some stuff that's completely different. This will help with my example. So anything you guys got, throw it in there. Shoes, I like it. Jewelry, it can be the same stuff too. I don't mind. Nails. Perfect. Does everybody have at least something? Anime streaming subscription, very specific, and I like it. Are you more of a Funimation or a Crunchyroll kind of guy? There we see. You guys know what I'm talking about. Me too. I like how you guys now all are in there. You're like, see, I knew there was stuff you guys had in common. You see how you weren't saying anything? You're all like, Crunchyroll, Funimation. You're like, you got opinions. I see you guys. Okay, awesome. I'm more of a Funimation person myself. I'm just letting you know. But getting into it. So let's do a couple that I know are the most common, all right? Who here, like shoes? Okay, we'll spend money on shoes. Good amount of you. Some of you know. It's fine. Okay. Join me in the chat box. What's the most expensive pair of shoes that you've ever bought? Okay, most expensive pair of shoes you've ever bought. $600, $800, $450. Perfect. Thank you guys for those of you sharing. Okay. Now I'm gonna be honest. 400, 500, 300. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Yeah, I'm a nana. Okay. I'm over here. I wear Crocs until they like completely are worn down. All right. My wife is like, why? Like I'm going to throw your Crocs away. I'm like, they're comfortable. I don't need anything else. Okay. But my wife is like you guys. If I would let her spend money on whatever she wanted, 100%, we would have $400 pairs of shoes all over the place. She'd be like, yes, this one and this one. I'd be like, that's insane. Why would you ever do that? Okay. And it's because I don't get it. I'm just not in that market. I'm like, I don't know why you would spend that much on shoes. Okay, let's do something else. Let's pick another one. We're gonna do, anybody here do video games? Okay, game systems, online games, any of that? Okay, a couple of you, awesome. Okay, throw in there, like how much have you spent on video games? Could be all your stuff, could be just some of the stuff. I know, that one's hard. How dare I? Okay, rough estimates, okay? How much have you spent on video games? Rough. Okay, we got 700. Thank you, Jasmine, for being vulnerable and open. 400. Got some game systems. Thousands. It depends on the game, but average $100 on a game. Lifetime, probably $5,000. So even going on the low end. For those of you who said you don't like playing video games, would you guys spend $400 on anything video game related? No, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, Abby's like really like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, but Abby also spent $450 on shoes. Okay, and that made sense. She was like, well, yeah, but that's different. That's not the same thing, Christina. Okay. Let's do some other stuff we got here. We had jewelry, okay? Most expensive jewelry that you guys have bought. I had one kid tell me, I don't think you'll be able to beat him. He told me he spent $5,000 on a chain that he then lost at the beach. It's hilarious. So I was like, I'm gonna go metal detector, go find that out there. Okay? None. Okay? For those of you who have spent money, it's okay. Some of you are like, jewelry is not, it's not the move, okay? But we got 800 for some people. We got $100, $4, okay? So, but the same people were like, oh, I've spent zero, spent like $800 on video games, okay? Or $1,000 on video games. They're like, oh, no, the jewelry is not for me, but it doesn't make sense. It makes way more sense when you're buying it for video games, okay? And that's the only thing. I'm not here to like call you guys out and tell you what you're doing is wrong or that you can't have stuff or spend money on things. I have to call Tommy and myself out real quick just to even the playing field, obviously, okay? Tommy, what do you spend money on?
I hate this part. I'm a collector, so I've spent a lot on Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, football, baseball, hockey, any trading card you can think of. I have a good portion of them.
Cool. How many of you are like, oh, that's so cool. Like, that's awesome. That's so interesting that you do that. Okay, a couple of you. Tell me, how much have you spent on your
Thousands,
collection?
several thousands.
Several thousands. Awesome. Okay, cool. So some of you are now like, well, I don't know about that. Okay. Awesome. Calling myself out though to be even because gotta be
Thanks.
even.
Appreciate it.
Of course, sir. Of course. Okay. So for my wife and I, one of the things, well, one, we're just overall big nerds. Like I have collectibles all over the place. Okay. But one of our biggest hobbies is we really like to do Legos together. Okay. And obviously we can't build like a Lego set together. I have to get one for me and then one for her because that's how this works. Legos is a very expensive hobby, by the way. I would not recommend it. Really fun. Not a cheap hobby though. Okay. And so one set that I've really wanted forever is just that I don't have space for it. So that's the biggest issue. But it's the big Millennium Falcons, the Star Wars one. And it's like $800. Okay. Would you guys spend $800 on some Legos? Okay? Most of you are no. Some of you are thinking about it. You're like, I don't know. What does it look like? Okay? But most of you are like, no, not even for my kids. I love it. Okay? But all of you have also spent $800 on other things. Okay? With no issues. No issues. You spent $800. And that's the difference, okay? Is that all of us have money to spend. We just spend it on different things. Okay? It's just the value that we put into that. Some of you were talking about shoes and spending $800 on that, and I'm like, I don't even want to spend $30 on Crocs. Like, why would I want to do that? Okay? I don't. I got these on sale for $25. So, okay? But I'll spend $800 on Legos, no problem. Be like, oh yeah, this is nice. This is what I want. Okay? And so it's all just the difference in what we value. Okay? Because like I said, everybody has money to spend. They just value different things. Okay? They just spend it on different things. Now, this is where I do call you guys out. I'm just forewarning, okay? I want you guys, not everyone here, but probably majority of you. I want you guys to think of all those things that you spent money on. Okay? The games, the shoes, the jewelry. I want you to think of all the stuff that you spent money on. Most of you bought these things without a job, okay? You weren't like gainfully employed, you didn't have a salary or full-time career, you know, that was babysitting money, allowance, graduation, birthday money, and you think it's crazy that somebody who will spend a few $1,000s on knives for someone who owns a home, works full-time, that they're going to buy once, use every single day, and never have to replace it. Okay? You guys could probably afford the biggest set of Cutco based off of what you spend your money on. Okay? And that's not me saying stop spending money. That's just saying putting price into perspective. Okay? When you look at it, you're like, man, that much for knives? That's insane. Okay? But if I said go buy thousands of dollars of video game stuff, you'd be like, well, that makes sense. Like, I'm gonna use that. Okay? And that's the biggest thing. I want you guys to put that into perspective. Cool? Because what homeowners spend their money on is different than what you guys do. All right? Couple questions. Do people take pride in the things that they own? Yeah, for sure. We all just bragged about the stuff that we have. We were like, yeah, look, I spent money on this, okay? Do people spend a lot of money on the house? Yeah, 100%. That's like a no-brainer. Does anybody have a family member that has the no-touch room? Hey, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, some of you do. Okay, you know, it's like all vacuumed the same way. Everything's like covered. You can't even go in that room. They're like, don't even look at the room. Don't even go in there. My aunt had like 2 of those, like half the house we couldn't even be in. Like, what's the point of this? Why is your house like this? Okay? And just so you know, regardless of someone's financial situation, they might go to Walmart for like food and groceries, but no one wants to furnish their home with the Walmart collection. Okay? And you can go budget on anything, but most people want to buy high quality for their home. And that's how you can even tell as you start to get older, as you start getting excited about air fryers and vacuums. Okay? So think about, okay? So think about like the dining room table. Okay? Did you guys ever put like a cup down on the dining room table with like no coaster and your mom practically smacked it up? Like, what did it do? Rings! And you're looking at it like it's a piece of wood with legs. Like, I don't get it. Like, what's the big deal? Okay? And it's because dining room tables can be a lot. Okay, they can go from anywhere from like $2,000 to $5,000, and it's because things for the home don't cost hundreds; they cost thousands. Okay, that's probably one of the biggest kick in the faces that I got as I got older. It was like, man, things cost money. Why is everything so expensive? Okay, it's because things for the home don't cost hundreds; they cost thousands. Did you guys ever jump on the bed as a kid? Okay, and your mom looked at you and she was like, "Don't jump on the bed." She's like, "You're gonna hurt your head." Okay, do you think your mom cared about the bed? About your head? No, she cared about the bed. And she was like, beds are expensive. You know how much this thing costs? But she can't say that. She gotta be a good mom. Okay? She's like, don't jump on the bed. You're gonna hurt your head. Okay? Beds can be anywhere from, if you want to get ripped off at a mattress store, anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. But even like the budget-friendly ones, okay, that are, you know, like the Caspers and the Tufton Needles. Okay, if you want a queen or a king-size mattress, they're still like $1,000. Okay, like anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. And those are the budget ones. And that's just the mattress. You still gotta buy the bed frame. You still gotta buy the, the nightstands, the sheets, the blankets, all that stuff. Like, I just got a headboard earlier this year. I was like, ooh, look, we fancy. We got a headboard. Right? Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, oh, yeah, I spent like a whole bunch of money on it. Anyway, okay? But feeling all excited about those things. But it's because things for the home don't cost hundreds. They cost thousands, okay? And people want nice stuff in their home. You can even think of the big screen TV, okay? This one's always funny to me. Does anybody have that person in their family or maybe a friend that's like this that always complains about money, okay? But when you go to their house, they're like plopped in front of this like giant screen TV or they have like the nice car or whatever, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, what? I'm not getting it, okay? My uncle's that person. We'd be like, we can't afford to go to any of these places. He's like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, but look at this new TV that I just bought. And I'm like, I don't understand. Uncle. He was like, yeah, it was like $2,000. He's like one of those curved ones. And he gets so excited about it, but I'm like, sir, what is going on? Okay, so things for the home don't cost hundreds, they cost thousands. If you want those nice big screen TVs, like $2,000 to $4,000. I'm not at that level yet, okay? I'm still buying TCLs and Hisense. So those are the ones that I get. You guys know. Okay, you guys know. This is why I'm not qualified. I'm not a qualified appointment just yet. All right. Now let's look at things in the kitchen because Cutco's in the kitchen. New fridges, $2,000 to $3,000. Okay, because fridges don't cost hundreds, they cost thousands. I remember my mom just bought her house, and you know when like sometimes people leave stuff like fridges or washer and dryers and all that stuff, and you look at them and you're like, this is nice. This is like fancy nice. Okay? And so we looked at the fridge and we Googled it. It's like a $3,500 fridge. And I was like, okay, I guess it's that kind of nice. Okay? And it's because things for the home don't cost hundreds, they cost thousands. New dishwasher, $2,000 to $4,000. Granite countertops, $10,000 to $40,000. Okay, my mom got new floors in the house when she first moved in. Okay, that's $10,000. Things for the home don't cost hundreds, They cost thousands, right? Cutco is probably the cheapest thing in the kitchen except for maybe the toaster. But it's the only thing that is forever guaranteed, and it's the only thing they're going to use every single day. And Cutco is probably the only thing they'll ever own that's the best in the world. This is going to sound kind of weird when I ask it, but just go along. Do any of your customers own Rolls Royces or like Rolex watches? Most of you are like, no. Like, I've never experienced that. Okay? Think of Cutco as the Rolls Royce or the Rolex watches of kitchen cutlery. Okay? And so having your customers take pride in owning the best product in the history of the universe because Cutco is awesome. So my last thing before we take a break, okay? How many of you drive? Almost all of you? Okay, perfect. Would you guys pay $4,000 for a tank of gas? That was a quick shake. You're like, Christina, I know gas prices, they're up there, but I don't think they're there yet. Okay? Yeah, no, you wouldn't pay $4,000 for a tank of gas, but would you pay $4,000 for a tank of magic gas? Okay? It's forever guaranteed. It'll follow you from car to car. You never have to refill or pay for gas ever again. Okay? Once you buy it, it's done. It's a one-time investment. Would you guys pay for it then? 100%. These are some enthusiastic head nods. You're like, yes, okay, yes. Okay? And it's because you know that you're going to spend more than $4,000 in your lifetime on gas. Okay? So it's an investment. And that's our Cutco philosophy, okay? Is that we would rather explain the price once than apologize for poor quality later. Okay? We would rather explain the price once than apologize for poor quality later. I have no problem if somebody pokes fun at me. My aunt did that. She's kind of snarky. Okay? The same one with the no touch rooms. She's like, you know why your knife's so expensive? And I was like, they're the best. I was still brand new. I was just like, I don't know, they're the best. Okay? And she went, okay. And she got a galley set. But it'd be way worse if that same aunt came to me and was like, Christina, the knife set you sold me broke. Or it just wasn't as good as you said it was going to be. Okay? Well, it just didn't really live up to my expectations. Do you know how terrible that would be? That I put my name behind something. I showed my family something that sucks. Okay? So that's why I always feel good. We would rather explain the price once than apologize for poor quality later. Cool? So, with that, because I know I called you guys out, maybe a little sensitive now, we're going to take a 15-minute break. Okay? We're going to take a 15-minute break. During this break, what I want you guys to do is if you have a pet, I would like to see your pet. Okay? You're going to bring me your pet after this break. If you do not have a pet, you will bring me another joyful item. Okay? Another joyful item. I see you. Bring me a joyful item. All right? So, we're going to go ahead and take that 15 minutes, Tommy, time.
3:03, we can just round up to 3:05, I think.
3:05. Awesome. So you guys get some extra time. Go outside. Go look at the sun. Get away from your computer. We'll be back in 15 or 18, whatever. Show the dogs. Look, don't they look both like Luke and Luna? I'm telling you. We have twin dogs. My dogs are too old and mean.
Yeah,
All right,
that's my other dog. I can't pick him up for camera. If he walks by in the background, he'll be like, "What's up, guys?"
Jordan, I'm gonna need names. That's what I need. It's required now. It's required.
Corgi mixes, Nana. I need to see I need to see these. I need to see the dog's butts.
It's
all right,
essential. Luna, I'm gonna grab my dog.
guys, don't look at me weird. Everybody knows they have a dump truck. All right, let's be honest here. Abby, don't look at me like that. Have you seen videos of corgis walking? No, you haven't? Look it up, all right? They are adorable, and they're hilarious. Everything about them is great.
I got her.
Holy, look at Luna.
She wasn't happy. She was taking a nap.
Nana, that dog is adorable.
There you go.
I love it.
I'm sorry I ruined your nap.
Abby, did you see what I mean or not at all? That's not what I meant, right? I'm saying, I don't know. This is a corgi trait. Abby's looking at me weird because I'm like, corgis have dump trucks. And I'm like, they do.
I just like how much she's judging you. She was like, all right, weirdo.
Right. Nobody else is backing me up either. They're like, Tom, you're weird, but we all know.
I'm not a big corgi butt person, so,
They're bullies? That's fine.
Well, yeah, you have small dogs. Of course you think that's fine. You're like, that's fine.
My mom said you can have him. No, I'm not. I'm not taking a second dog. We're not taking that. No, third
All
dog.
right. For those of you who did not have a pet, where's your joyful item? What are you doing? I see you. Ooh, is that jewelry making for Jasmine's? Nice. Okay, we got candles and candles. I think those are 2 candles, right?
Is that a mascara? What am I looking at?
This right here,
Yeah.
this is my tattoo gun.
Oh, okay, cool.
I just didn't put the needle in it because like can't hold it.
Tattoo gun.
Yes, I do my own tattoos.
That's
Come
awesome.
on.
That's awesome.
And then we had an Oculus Quest over there with Sam. I like it. Oh wait, he may have another one. No, I thought it was just a graham cracker, a Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tart. I thought it was a sticky note, and then he ate
That's
it.
what I thought at first, and then he bit it. I was like, oh, okay, never mind. It's edible.
Hold up. Oh, that's definitely not a sticky note. I don't
Nope.
feel it right now.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you guys for showing me the pets. Damien, what was the name of your cat as well? I know we gave all the attention to the dog. I'm sorry.
I really want a cat. Poe?
Top notch.
Christina, you know what I just realized? Baker named his daughter Azula.
Did you, like, it, now you just realized she's
It
like
just
4 months
clicked.
old?
I didn't know.
I'm glad this is in the recording.
I talked to him this morning. It's fine. Damien, yeah, from Kung Fu Panda. Of course, Damien. Kung Fu Panda is an iconic series. All 3 movies.
Yeah, that's why I clapped. Did you not
Heck yeah.
catch the clap?
Same with How to Train Your Dragon. If nobody's watched all 3 How to Train Your Dragons and the additional series on top of it that you can watch on Netflix, top tier. Really good stuff.
Need cartoon recommendations, you know where to go. It's
Yeah.
both of us. Anyway, go ahead, Tommy. Take over.
All right. So this is for your notes. I'm glad we get all this stuff in the recording. This is awesome. Hey, Evan, this is our training, man. All right. So the next thing we're talking about is closing. All right. Closing. Closing is the process of sealing the deal, asking for the order, writing it up, smiling and nodding your head. Now our close is very laid back because we sell the best product of its kind in the world. So do you think we have to be super high pressure and then in their face? No. Plus, do you guys think that would work well? Can you imagine if I'm like, Abby, you're going to get it, right? Like, no, I'm probably not going to sell a lot of sets, right? So it's very low key, very laid back. Like, hey, do you want to get that today? And then we nod and smile, right? Nod and smile. Super low key, super laid back, but most importantly, it's confident. And that's what we're looking for, right? Low key, laid back, but confident. And when it comes to closing, a couple things to keep in mind, right? So we show everyone the Homemaker. Every single customer, we start off with the Homemaker set. It's the best value for the average everyday family, so most people can identify with it, and it's not overwhelming. It's very basic, very average set. So it's very, like, again, most people can identify with that kind of set. And it's easier to start higher and then drop down to something smaller rather than the opposite, right? Like starting smaller and then going to a larger set. It's very, very difficult to do that unless you have quality sales skills. And so since you guys are new, we start high and we drop down, okay? So there's 4 reasons why we show everyone the Homemaker and why we do the closing the way that we do. The first one is you can't judge your customers because you never know what somebody's spending habits are. Does anyone know someone who's like a jeans and t-shirt person but has more money than God? We wouldn't even know, right? Does anybody know somebody who like lives in a really fancy house? Like every time you go to their house, you're like, wow, this is nice. So does anybody know someone who maybe doesn't live in a fancy house, but they have a really nice car? Every time you're in the car with them, like all the bells and whistles. Does anyone know somebody who maybe doesn't have a nice house or a car, but they go on vacation all the time? Like their Instagram is just loaded with them on vacation all the time. Great. Does anyone know somebody maybe doesn't do any of that, but anytime there's a family event or any big event, they throw down? Like that's the party house. Like there's a ton of food. There's a band. You guys know what I'm talking about? Anybody have somebody like that in their family? That's my girlfriend's family, honestly. Like they all live in not the best part of town, but anytime there's a family event, whew, there's a band, there's a bouncy house, there's like 1,400 different entrees, right? She's Latin, right? So it makes sense. But it's a party, right? My grandma's the same way. Super Bowl parties are her house. Woo! Oh my gosh, lights out, right? She makes like 17 different appetizers that you can eat. It's insane, right? It's awesome. She's lived in the same house for 40 plus years. But again, you can't judge your customers. Do people value family time? Heck yeah, right? And people spend a lot of money on things that bring family together. Cutco's dinner time. Dinner time's family time. People invest more money and stuff like that. The second thing is that you have to show value. You have to establish a baseline for the value of the product. Because if they just picked out pieces individually, like a la carte, they wouldn't appreciate the value as much compared to showing them the bundle deal and then dropping down to those individual pieces. Does that make sense? So that's why we show the big set and then we drop down. The third thing is you want to show respect. Show of hands, who here wants to be respectful of your customers? All right, it's good, right? I'm just making sure no hands are down. And that's the important thing here. But you have to respect your customers because people feel good when they're asked to buy one of the larger sets first. It's kind of like, has anybody been to a really expensive store where you knew you couldn't even afford like the hanger the clothes were on, but somebody asked you if you needed help? It makes you feel good, don't it? You're like, no, I'm okay. I'm just looking, but it makes you feel respected. Has anybody had the opposite happen to them where like they completely ignore you? That doesn't feel good, does it? So you'd much rather be the former versus the latter, right? You'd much rather be the first over the second of the two. So if you don't ask, it shows them that you feel like they can't afford the option you're showing them. Would you guys agree that can come across very rude? Right? Like, can you imagine if I'm sitting with Jasmine as my customer? I'm like, hey, Jasmine, this is the Homemaker set. And I keep hyping it up the whole time. And then I'm like, you know what? Actually, I'm going to just skip right next to it, like just to our next set because I think it's a better value. And you're like, wait, why weren't you showing me that one? Right? Like in her head, she already knows that I feel like she can't afford it. Right? And that's just disrespectful to your customers. So that's why we show every customer, every option, every time. Now, Damien, if they say yes to the Homemaker, do you have to show them the smaller sets? No, you skip the gifts and accessories, right? You don't have to show the smaller sets because you take the yes on the bigger set, right? But again, if they haven't said yes yet, show every customer, every option, every time. And the last thing is you have to do something we call AFTO, A-F-T-O, AFTO. And this stands for ask for the order. But not just ask for the order, ask for the order with confidence. And there's a huge difference between the two. There's a huge difference between saying, Jordan, would you want to try that out today? Versus, hey, Jordan, what do you think? You want to go and do that today? Right, there's a considerable difference there. You have to act as if they're going to say yes every single time. It's kind of like, I think Christina might have mentioned it before, and we'll talk about it later today, but it's kind of like when Steph Curry shoots the basketball. Do you think he expects to miss? Never. And even if you don't follow basketball, you probably heard Steph Curry. He's really, really, really good, right? He doesn't expect to miss. Does he make every single shot? No, but he expects to make it. Same thing with your appointments. You want to expect to make a sale on every single appointment. Are you going to close on the Homemaker every time? Maybe not. But you still want to have that expectation to show respect to your customers. But it's kind of like another way to view this is like let's say you're going to a Mercedes dealership and you want to buy a Mercedes. Do you think the Mercedes dealer necessarily drives a Mercedes? No, a lot of times they drive the beat up piece of junk in the back. But they talk to their customers as if they drive a what? As if they drive a Mercedes. You want to talk to your customers at their level. You want to think about the pricing from their perspective and understand it from their point of view. Because you can imagine, like, if Abby's trying to buy a Mercedes from me and Abby's like, how much is this one? And I look at her, I'm like, that one, that's like $65,000. You can go to Toyota down the street and get something for way cheaper. Like, do you think I'm going to sell a lot of Mercedes that way? Not at all. That would be like a customer telling me like, hey, I already have knives. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, guys, I guarantee you every single customer you talk to already has knives. That's not the point. The point is they want to upgrade to the better stuff. And that's why they get cut down, right? It's such a lame excuse. So a much better way to handle that Mercedes situation is if Abby's coming to try to buy a Mercedes from me, she's like, how much is this one? I really like this one. I'm like, that one. It's one of our most popular options, going for about 65 right now. But let me take you inside and show what some of the payment options would be and see how we can make it affordable for you today. Would you guys agree that I'm going to sell a lot more Mercedes that way? Heck yeah. And it's because I handled it confidently and I talked to the customer at their level. Right? So sometimes it's good, like Jelena, disassociate yourself from the pricing a little bit. Right? People spend this money all the time. Just because you don't doesn't mean the customer won't. Right? So you have to ask with confidence to make the customer feel comfortable. So don't take offense to this. It's not about you. Like, no offense, it's not about you. It's about making the customer feel comfortable. And that's why we ask with confidence. And do you guys think that every customer is going to say yes to the set? No. Right? Will a lot of them do it? Yeah, I mean, we've had reps that went 5 for 5 on their first 5 appointments and sell 5 homemakers. right? I've also had reps go 5 for 5 and sell a bunch of just individual like starter sets, pieces, whatever it is, right? So not every customer is going to say yes to the homemaker set. But when they say no, do you think we tuck and roll and freak out and hang up on the Google Meet? No, right? And when they're saying no, are they saying no to Cutco in general? They're like, no, I don't like this stuff. No. Are they saying no to you? They're like, Abby, I don't like you. I don't want to buy Cutco from you. No. What are they saying no to? The one option you've shown them at this point. So that means when they say no, you just drop down. You show them the next option. Not every customer is going to say yes to the homemaker set. A lot of people do, but not everybody's going to say yes to the homemaker set. So you just drop down and find something that fits within their budget today. Right? Something that they're excited about starting off with, and they can always upgrade later. So 2 things to write down before I go over the exact verbiage of what we say, right? The first one is that 50% of your customers will buy sets. The other 50% of all your potential sales will be individual piece specials. So half of all your sales will be the sets that we make, which we have the homemaker set, the galley set, and then like 7 or 8 different starter sets that the customers can pick from. We'll talk more about the starter sets tomorrow. The other half of all your potential sales will be after those options, which is where they customize their own set and pick out their 5 favorite pieces. And you can drop down. We have a couple other piece specials where if they buy 4, 2, or 1 piece. But if you skip all the piece specials, you're cutting out half of all of your potential sales, half of all of your potential orders, half of all of your potential income. Does anybody want to do that? I wouldn't think so, right? Because if they buy 1 or 2 pieces or like buy, 4 or 5 pieces from you today, again, whether it be 1 piece or 5 pieces, what are they going to do later? They're going to upgrade. They're going to add more. The average Cutco customer purchases 3 to 5 different times in their lifetime. I'll say that again. The average Cutco customer purchases 3 to 5 different times. So Damien, if a customer starts off with just their 2 favorite pieces today, what do you think is going to happen over winter break? They're going to reach out and be like, Damien, I love my Cutco. I've used it every single day. This is way better than I thought it would be. I'd love to add the table knife set and a couple other pieces. Then what are they going to do next summer or next year? Do the same thing. And then they buy gifts for friends and family. They upgrade to sets. They add cookware. They add flatware. There's so much in our collection that customers add on. So again, hook them up with something to start today. That way they can love Cutco and they can always upgrade later. So the last thing I want to talk about before I teach you the exact verbiage is closing percentage. And this is something worth taking note of and worth understanding, right? Closing percentage is the badge of honor for a Cutco rep. Your average order size is a product of your customer base. So of course, if you have some baller customers, you're going to close larger orders. But I don't care about that. What Christina and I look at, the mark of a good rep is closing percentage. That means how many customers out of 10 are purchasing from you. I would rather have a rep go 9 for 10 on their appointments and just sell piece special after piece special after piece special versus a rep go 1 for 10 and sell our biggest set. Because would you guys agree that the rep that went 1 for 10 might be doing something wrong on those other 9 appointments? Yeah, they're probably trying to pressure their customer just getting the biggest set, and that's not tailoring well to the other 9 customers that they're talking to. Whereas the rep that goes 9 for 10 is showing the customers all the options, making the customer feel comfortable with whatever purchasing decision they're getting. Right? So keep that in mind. So let's talk about closing process. So everybody open up your manuals. Everybody pull that up on your site. You should have it up by this point. You guys will have a minute for me to adjust the slide here on my end. What are you doing, buddy? All right, give me a thumbs up. Does everybody have their manual pulled up? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I don't see thumbs from everyone. Beautiful. Chrissy, if you could post it just one more time, just in case. No, Jordan, Jasmine were having issues earlier. They might not have saved it. All right, pull up the manual. You're going to want to scroll down to page 8. That's where we're picking up. right? So remember, we talked through all this, talked about the app, played the video, went through all these slides, talked about the individual pieces of Cutco, talked about the gadgets, the accessories, and now we're here at page 8. Now here on this side, we scroll down, that's the video. This is the slideshow that we're at. Now what's cool is, like, let's say, Abby, that you want to skip back and forth between some slides. You can click on the slide number here and just skip to right where we left off, which was the shears. And now I'm at the shear slide, right? Which is where we left off. I go to the next page. If it doesn't go, sometimes you have to click it a couple times, but you'll see set options. You want those to match. Cool. All right. So, hey, Auntie Jelena, let me review why so many people choose to invest in Cutco. You'll always have sharp American-made knives that are comfortable, safe, and sanitary. Cutco is guaranteed to last forever, so it'd be the last set of knives you'd ever buy. And Cutco saves a lot of money. Most customers who buy Cutco eat out less. If that saves $60 a month, it's $720 saved this year. Over 25 years, you'll save $18,000. We get the $60 a month from basically a family of 4 going out to eat at fast food like once or twice a month. Would you guys agree if you have a good quality set of knives at home, you're probably doing that less often? Like, yeah. This would also be like mom and dad going out for a date night, like a really cheap one. I took my girlfriend to Chili's and we had an appetizer to share. We both had our own entree. We had a dessert to share, and we both had an adult beverage. After tax and tip, it was $75. So again, would you guys agree that if we have quality knives at home, you're doing that less often? Yeah, that's where we get these numbers from. There are several reasons why so many customers choose sets. Cutco sets have the right tool for the right job. Cutco sets have a built-in discount, so it's less expensive. Sets come with a free cutting board and other free stuff. Sets are much safer because they come in a block or tray, and we have interest-free monthly investment options, so you don't have to pay for it all at once. And you guys notice that we say less expensive here. That's on purpose, because if I say less expensive, it might be scary. Like, Jess might be thinking, like, why are we saying the word expensive? Doesn't that scare the customer? Well, that's the point, a little bit, right? Because we want to say expensive because that means the customer is going to think the set costs what? A lot of money, right? Like, I want the customer to think that every single knife we make costs $10,000, because when I tell them the price of the set, they're like, wow, that's it? I'm like, heck yeah, that's it, right? And it also sounds better than the word cheaper, in my opinion, because I'm like, hey, it's cheaper. Like, I don't want to associate the word cheap with Cutco because it's not cheap, because it's the best of the best out there, right? Beautiful. So on the first slide here, you'll see a Wusthof and Schön brand comparison. So I click next and you see that. When it comes to high quality cutlery, it's like anything else. There's a wide variety of quality and prices. Cutco is top rated, so we only compare to the highest quality brands. I have a price comparison for our top competitors, Wusthof and Schön. Have you heard of them before? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you've heard of them before. Thumbs up or thumbs down if you've heard of them before. It's kind of a trick question. We just talked about them. So yes, you've all heard about it before, right? So these high quality sets made overseas are 2 of the top selling brands in stores. Each brand has different types of sets, which range in price. Wusthof is the most popular. The price for this Wusthof set is $3,435. Sometimes you can find it on sale for $2,000. But there are some major differences between these brands and Cutco. Wusthof has mostly straight edges, so they need to be sharpened, which is a hassle. They are not recommended for the dishwasher, and the warranty is on manufacturing defects only. In comparison, Cutco has a unique wedge lock handle, exclusive double D stay sharp edge, and we have our 4-part forever guarantee, including our free sharpening. Cutco owners will tell you that it's 10 times better than any knives they've ever used. Just considering the guarantee and unique features, most people would agree that Cutco is at least twice as good as Wusthof. And when something offers twice the quality and value and lasts forever, you would expect it to be at least twice the price. At twice the price, you're talking over $4,000 for a set of Cutco. So this is just a review of what we talked about earlier. We're just putting it in the customer's mind, okay? Now we click next slide. Again, make sure your slides match. As I said earlier, our Homemaker Plus 8 is our most popular set. It's perfect for families that cook 2 to 4 times a week. It has the 10 basic tools I explained earlier, 8 table knives, the wood block, a medium cutting board, and a sharpener for the straight edges. We also have a Homemaker set without table knives. If you were considering a set of Cutco, would you prefer the set with the table knives? Remember, you pause and wait for a response anytime you ask for a question. Now, you guys remember this is a buying question, right? A tie down question, because if the customer picks whether or not they want table knives, they're a lot more likely to purchase. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Thumbs up if you get the set with the table knives. Thumbs down if you get it without the table knives. Let me see. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. The way I figured is if you're already getting the BMW, you might as well get the sunroof. If you're getting the homemaker set, might as well get the table knives, right? So the great thing is that it doesn't cost $4,000. Whoo! Some of you are like, oh, thank goodness, Tommy. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for those knives. In fact, it doesn't even cost as much as the Wusthof price of $3,435. Whoo! That's good to know too, ain't it? The Homemaker Plus 8 set is only, can I get a drum roll, please? Everybody give me a virtual drum roll. I can't do it on my desk because my hand's broken. I'm not seeing a virtual drum roll from everybody. All right. You guys ready? Would it be cool if like the price was included in the manual instead of just a blank spot? Like that'd be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be pretty cool. So everybody, does everybody have the manual pulled up? And is everybody on page 9? Give me a thumbs up if you're there. Okay, great. So everybody look at my screen, pay attention. So does everybody see the word page 9? Give me a thumbs up when you see the word page 9. Click on it. It's a hyperlink and it takes you to a new slide that has the entire rest of the demo with prices included. That's nice, ain't it? So everybody write in your presentation notes for me. You guys remember that first page of notes we talked about yesterday? Click on page 9. That way you remember. Click on page 9. All right. So the great thing is that it doesn't cost $4,000. In fact, it doesn't even cost as much as the Wusthof price of $3,435. The Homemaker Plus 8 set is only $1,419, paid in full, which includes shipping. What? But most of our customers take advantage of our 5-month interest-free easy pay option, which is only $284 plus tax today. And you guys see where it says write down investment options on paper or in the Zoom chat? All customers are visual. Customers process information better when it's written down, especially when it comes to numbers. So anytime you quote a price, you're going to want to post it in the chat. What's cool about this part is you can just copy and paste it just like that. Post it in the chat and you're good to go. My chat's being a little bit slow on my end. It should pop up here in a second. What's happening? That's cool. Hey, Christina, I can't click.
I think you just froze.
All right. So, hey, appreciate you guys dealing with the technical difficulty. My computer just died. It was like, hey, there's no processing system on this hard drive, and it refuses to restart. So we're having a great time. Despite that, I wanted to teach you guys a couple things about asking for the order. All right. So you say the great thing is that it doesn't cost $4,000. The Homemaker Plus is only $1,419, paid in full, which includes shipping. But most of our customers take advantage of our 5-month interest-free easy pay option, which is only $284 plus tax today. Christina, if you could click on the page 9 for me, so the pricing is there.
Noticed. Sorry.
All good. All good.
There you go.
All right. And then you're going to go down to buy now bonus. Remember, you want to copy and paste the pricing into the chat. You're going to say, we have a bonus where if you buy now, I can give you the entire kitchen tool set, the entertainer pack with those 4 popular gadgets, or a pair of super shears for free. They're going to say, hey, Auntie Abby, wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you. Would you like to try out the Homemaker set today and get your free gifts? And you guys see where it says be completely quiet and wait for answer? That means nod and smile. So everybody, on 3, and say 1, 2, 3. And on 3, everybody, you're going to do your best Homemaker Plus 8 nod and smiles. All right? You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. I see some promotions on the Zoom call. Sheesh. Looking spicy. All right. So the customer's either going to say yes or no, right? When they say yes, you're going to say, congratulations. You're going to love your Cutco. By the way, do you guys want to be like super low key about that. Like when they purchase, you want to be like, congratulations, Jelena, that's a very wise investment. Like, no, you want to be excited. You want to be pumped up. You want to have energy, right? Hey, congrats, you're going to love your Cutco. While I write that up, let's look at accessories. By the way, you guys ever entertain or host family occasions, right? And you guys see that question there? And the reason you ask that is because it gives you permission to show the larger sets, right? If they say no, you're going to say, hey, no problem. If you don't mind me asking, what is it about the homemaker set you're unsure of? And you clarify the objection, so that way when you drop down, you can better serve your customer, okay? Now, a couple things on this closing process. Hopefully you guys still see me okay. I'm walking around because I have better energy if I'm on my phone when I'm walking around. So you guys noticed something small when I said the pricing. Did anybody notice how I did that? So with our competitors, I said $4,000. I said $3,435. But when I quoted the price of the homemaker set, it was $1,419. Why? It's because it sounds less expensive compared to saying $1,419. I said $1,419. So everybody write in your notes, in your presentation notes on that first page of notes. When you talk about the pricing of Cutco, eliminate hundreds and thousands from your vocabulary. They do not exist. It's a small psychological thing. If you care about going more depth about this, we could talk about it after training. But the point is it sounds less expensive. It's easier for the customer to process. Another thing that I wanted to point out is you guys notice how we call it a buy when bonus? It's a buy now bonus. That means if they get it today, they get that deal. They get the free kitchen tools, the entertainer pack, or the shears. So if they call you back tomorrow, can they get that same deal? No. If they call you back next week, can they get that same deal? No. If they call you back next month, can they get the same deal? No. That's why we have it. It's a buy now bonus. We want to create incentive for the customer to get it when? Now, today. Because if we did the same deal all the time, is there any incentive for them to get it today? No, they'll be like, oh, I'll just get it later. And do you guys think those customers end up purchasing later? No, a lot of times they don't. That's why it's so important to hook them up with something today, because that's the most likely time when they are going to purchase. We'll talk more about that at advanced training on Monday in terms of the psychology behind that and some of the objection handlers and stuff. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that 95% of your customers are going to say yes or no right away, right? They're going to be like, heck yeah, Abby, let's go ahead and do it. Here's my credit card. Or they're going to be like, no, it's too expensive. I wouldn't see myself using all those pieces. Whatever it is, you can handle their objection. But I do want to prepare you guys for a small percentage of your customers that don't do either of those. Basically, when you ask for the order, you're going to be like, hey, Auntie Jelena, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you. Would you like to try out the homemaker set today and get your free gifts? You're going to nod and smile, and the customer is going to be completely quiet. It's going to look like this. Would you like to go and get that today? All right, was that awkward for anybody? Was anybody like, Tommy, please say something? Oh my gosh, this is so weird. Okay, great. That was only 30 seconds of silence. But it felt like an eternity, didn't it? So the reason why, so basically in that scenario, you might think that you want to say something, right? Would anybody in that scenario probably say something to the customer? Like if they're completely quiet? That is the worst possible thing you can do in that scenario. Anything you say in that moment is going to be bad. And here's why. The customer is quiet because they're what? They're thinking, right? And a lot of times they're selling themselves on the product. They're selling themselves on the purchase. They're thinking like, wow, this Cutco stuff is awesome, way more affordable than I thought it would be. I love it in the dark handle. Like they're selling themselves and they're figuring out how to make that purchasing decision. But as soon as you say anything, what do you interrupt? You interrupt their thought process. And when you interrupt somebody's thought process, what's the easiest thing for them to say after that? Nah, I'm okay. And do you want the customer to say no? No, not at all, right? You want them to say yes. So I'm going to give you guys a tip that has literally made me thousands of dollars in income. I want you guys to write this down in your presentation notes on that first page, all bold, all caps, 1,400 underlines, 15,000 circles, highlight it, color pencil it, Sharpie it, whatever. 5 words. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Bada bing, bada boom. I see a couple thumbs. All right. Shut up and drink water. Right? Nana, I didn't mean to offend you or anything. Technically, you're telling yourself to shut up, right? Because you're reading it to yourself. Shut up and drink water. And here's why. Because you don't talk, allows the customer to think through the process, and you also hydrate, which is good. And you drink water versus soda because it doesn't make you burp or anything like that. So shut up and drink water. You want the customer to process the purchasing decision. There's an important psychology thing behind this. If you guys care about it, you can stay on after the Zoom call and we can talk about it. But basically, the customer has to talk first in this scenario. Is anybody competitive? Show of hands if you're competitive. Whoever talks first loses. So make sure who talks first every single time? The customer, right? You want to make sure they respond before you say anything. Cool? All right, so let's talk about the objections and how to handle these. So when the customer says no, you have to understand this is something we call a knee-jerk reaction, all right? We call it a knee-jerk reaction because has anybody been to the doctor and they did the little rubber hammer on your knee? And your knee goes, woo, right? It's an automatic response. So we are preconditioned as humans in our brains to say no before we say yes, right? This is an evolutionary trait. This goes back 10,000 years when we lived in caves. You guys think if we heard a big rustling in the bushes 10,000 years ago, do you think we're like, hey, we should definitely go check that out? No, we're like, it's probably a saber-toothed tiger. Let's run as fast as we can in the exact opposite direction, right? And so like, Jelena, I'm not saying you're getting chased by saber-toothed tigers right now, but it appears in different ways. Who here has been to a restaurant before? Show of hands, who here has been to a restaurant before? Every single one of you, right? So what happens at the end of every single meal? The waiter or waitress comes and asks you, can I interest you in dessert? And 9 out of 10 times you say what? Nah, I'm okay, right? Sometimes you're like, heck yeah, let's go ahead and run it, right? But most of the time you say, no, I'm okay. And as soon as that waiter or waitress walks away, what do you start thinking about? You start thinking about dessert. You're like, that double chocolate fudge sundae sounds so good right now, right? So what if that waiter or waitress were to come back and say, hey, did you have a chance to reconsider dessert? There's a good chance that some people would say what? Yeah, actually, let's go ahead and add this on, right? That's a sale, that's an objection handling, so on and so forth. So how do we apply that here, right? So you want to handle the customer's knee-jerk reactions, right? A lot of times customers will have questions before they say yes to the order. Sometimes it's something simple, like what colors does it come in? How does the payment plan work? Can I swap these pieces out for something else? Is it the only things that come for free with it? These are all good questions to get. But sometimes it's like, hey, it's too much money. I wouldn't see myself using all those pieces, whatever it is, right? But handling these questions does two things for you. The first thing is it gives a customer a minute to reconsider. And sometimes that's all they need to convince themselves to say yes, and that they actually want to get it. But even if they don't, the second thing it does for you is it teaches you what to focus on as you're dropping down. Teaches you what to focus on so you can better serve your customer. If they say it's too many pieces, you're going to focus on the fact that the galley set is a smaller set. If they say that it's too expensive, then when you drop down to the smaller set, you're going to focus on the fact that it's less expensive, right? That it's a lower price. So again, you ask this question, if you don't mind me asking, what is it about the homemaker you're unsure of, to better serve the customer? Everybody got it? All right, so I'm going to go through these basic objections. And I'm going to just, for right now in training today, we're just going to teach you what we say, and you guys are going to go into breakout rooms and practice this with a partner or in a group of 3. At advanced training on Monday, we are going to teach you guys more in depth about why we say the things that we do and how it affects the customer's mentality, right? So the first objection you guys see is, hey, if they say it's too much money, I can't swing that today. Any combination of that, like, hey, that's just out of budget, I got other stuff I got to spend money on, you're going to say, hey, I completely understand. $14.19 is a lot all at once. That's why most of our customers split it up over 5 months interest free. It'd only be $284 plus tax per month. How does that sound? And then you nod and smile, right? If they say, I really need to think about it. Guys, it's knives. It cuts stuff really well. Do you guys really think people need days to think about Cutco? Not really, right? If they really want to, like, if they're really like, Jelena, I need to think about it, just be like, hey, I'll be back in 5 minutes, talk it over with your spouse, and I'll be right back, right? But you want to see this first. I completely understand $14.19 is a lot of money to be impulsive. That's why most customers take advantage of the 15-day trial. If you don't love it after a few weeks, you can send it back and get a full refund. On the 5-month plan, you can try it out for only $284 plus tax today. How does that sound? You nod and smile, because the best way to try out Cutco is to use Cutco at home. If they say, I need to talk to my spouse, you're going to say, I completely understand. That's why most customers use the 15-day trial to make sure their spouse can really see the value. If they don't love it, you can send it back, or we'll send it back and get you a full refund. On the 5-month plan, you can both try it out for only $284 plus tax a day. How does that sound? Will you guys ever get the objection, I need to talk to my wife? No, because you should never be seeing a husband by themselves, right? Because they're never going to make the purchasing decision without their wife anyways. So always be showing Mrs. Jones or Mrs. Jones and Mr. Jones. If they say, it's too many pieces, I completely understand. At first, 10 pieces seems like a lot. After 15 business days, if there's a piece or a few pieces you're still unsure of, you can return them and get refunded for those pieces. How does that sound, right? If they say, can I just buy individual pieces? You're going to say, of course. However, sets are discounted. They're safer and you get free stuff. If you don't mind, I'll show you our sets. And if none of them appeal to you, we can pick out whatever pieces you want. They say, I definitely want to buy later. You're going to say, hey, no problem, Auntie Abby. You don't have to buy anything today. Do you mind if I go through the rest of the demo just so I can practice? Now, those last two are very important. When they say, can I buy pieces? Or if they say, I definitely want to buy later. What that translates to is it means these are the only ones I'm going to explain a little bit more in depth, because I want you guys to understand that those aren't like they're smokescreen objections. When they say, can I buy pieces? Or when they say, I definitely want to buy later, that means I like Cutco. I want to purchase Cutco, but the option you're showing me is out of my budget today. Do you have other options? Right? So it gives you permission to drop down and show them the other option. When they say, can I buy pieces? That's a for sure, like in your head, Abby, you should know I'm gonna make a sale, right? If they say, I definitely want to buy later, it means the price point you're showing them is not out of the realm of possibility. It means they like the set and they would spend the money, but they don't have that amount of money to spend. So you drop down to find something they're excited about getting today, and they can always upgrade later. Everybody got it? And if they still say no, by the way, you're not going to get every objection on every demo, right? You're usually going to get one, maybe two. And whatever they say after they say no again, you're going to say, hey, no problem. Let's get to the next set, which is our Galley +6. It's one of our most popular options. And you go to the next slide. All right, and you go to the Galley set. So I'm going to have you guys role play these in breakout rooms. Christina's going to be setting up the breakout rooms with you. The way this is going to work, let's say, Abby, you're on my screen, so I'm going to just keep picking on you if that's all right. All right. So let's say I'm in the breakout room with Abby. This is how it's going to work. Okay. So I'm going to ask the closing question, right? Hey, Abby, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you. Would you like to try out the Homemaker set today and get your free gifts? And I'm going to nod and smile. And then Auntie Abby is going to say, no. And then I'm going to say, hey, Auntie Abby, if you don't mind me asking, what is it about the Homemaker you're unsure of? And Abby's going to give me all of the objections. So I'm going to practice going through each objection with my Auntie Abby, right? Again, you're not going to get every objection on every appointment, but this is just for the sake of practice. And then after I get the final no, after they say, hey, I definitely want to buy it later, I say, hey, can I just go through the rest of the demo so I can practice? She says, yes. Then we're going to switch. Then Auntie Abby's going to become Rep Abby, and I'm going to become Uncle Tommy. And Abby's going to ask me the same question and go through the objections with me. Everybody got how this is going to work? So again, ask for the order. If you're the customer, you say no, and you just go through all the objections. Cool? All right, so Christina's going to open up the breakout rooms for you guys, and we're going to full send.
Start.
How was that? Also, my computer's working again. So hello, back from my computer. Thumbs up, thumbs down. How did that feel? Sweet, sweet. Yeah, no, we're talking about birthdays. Doesn't matter.
I always get Tommy like top tier birthday presents. Anyway.
Yeah, I give her my company.
He does, yeah. Anyway, that's in the recording. So continuing on. Continuing on, how was it though? Did you guys were able to go through some of the objections, feel more confident with it? Like I said, biggest thing, practicing them more, getting more confident in what you're saying, because these things are gonna come up, and I want Abby to be like, ooh, okay, but I don't want her to be completely caught off guard. I want her to be like, oh, I have said this before. I kind of know what I need to say next. All right, gives you guys more confidence as you continue to do more demonstrations. Perfect. Good. Good. Only looks like a third of you are like, yes, that makes sense. But, I do have to move on. So hopefully for the other third, it makes sense. And then, the last third, big chillin', I guess. So let's go ahead and get back into everything. What we're going to dive into now is the app. that I kind of hinted at and alluded to before, but we're going to get you guys set up with the Vector Impact app. So you're going to get either an email, text message, or both from your manager downloading this app. Just so I know, show of hands, who here has an iPhone? Almost all of you. Okay, perfect. So a couple different steps that you guys are going to need to take for my iPhone people. I'm sending links right now. Tommy, do you need me to send links for you or all good?
Already sent.
Okay, perfect. So you should, guys, like I said, should have gotten a text or email or both to download the Vector Impact app. Okay, just to preface before I play some videos from the people who made this app. Okay, basically what it is it's kind of like your personal assistant. Okay, it has everything in there for you guys, where you can make your phone calls, where you can do your schedule, where you can keep track of your stats. This is where you're gonna book appointments. Like literally everything that Tommy and I used to do on like paper and pen is now just in one place in this app for you guys. Okay, it allows everything to be a lot more efficient, organized, so that you guys can be more efficient and organized. We've actually found our representatives who are using this app for their phone calls are making about 2 times more phone calls or booking 2 times more phone calls per like phone jam or per hour than a representative who is not using this app. Okay, so that's why we have this for you guys, because it's working smarter, not harder. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull up the video so you guys can kind of see the people who made the app, what their intentions were, and how everything's going to work. Now, for those of you who have an iPhone, I'm just going to give you a small heads up. We are a certified app developer with Apple. But this app is not in the App Store. The other 2 apps I'll tell you guys about later are in the App Store. This is just the only one that's not, and it's because it's only for Vector reps. So we just don't really need it to be in the App Store. We want you guys to make sure you're setting it up the right way. So that's why it's not there. But this means that when you try to download it, you're probably going to get a pop-up that says untrusted developer, and it's because it's not in the App Store. So all you have to do is just go through your settings to pretty much give it access. I'm going to show you guys how to do this with the video. Just wanted to give you that heads up, because all the time people will message me, be like, it says untrusted. I'm like, I know. That's what it says. Okay. So go ahead and start the process though. Go ahead and start the process. Click the download for iPhone button, or for my 2 Android people, click download for Android. Okay. And it should start downloading it. As I said, if you have an iPhone, you won't be able to open it just yet, but I'm going to show you how to go through the steps. Okay. Go and give me a thumbs up if you just have started the process of downloading it. Not that it's downloaded, but you just started it. Okay, looks like you guys are all on the same page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this video up for you guys. This is from Corporate. They made this video, so it has everything you need to know about the beginnings of this app. And let me share the sound. Okay, perfect.
Welcome to the Vector Impact tutorial series. In this section, we'll get the app downloaded, set up your profile, and import your contacts so that later we can set up demos with some prospects. Before we start, you'll want to have your 8-digit rep number on hand. There are 3 ways to access the app's download page. One is by using your device's camera to scan this QR code. Another is taking the link in the email sent by your trainer. And as a last resort, you can go to vectorimpactapp.com directly on your device. Once you're on the download page, select the button for the operating system that matches your device and confirm the install. To do this on iOS, select Install. Find the app on your home screen and wait until it's finished downloading. Then follow these steps before you try opening the app for the first time. Go to your phone settings. Select General at the top of the 3rd section. Select VPN and Device Management in the 3rd to last section. Select Vector Marketing Corporation. Select Trust Vector Marketing Corporation. And then select Trust in the pop-up. This is necessary because Vector is an enterprise Apple developer, which allows us to host our own apps instead of putting them on the App Store. This makes it so that only people that are a part of a Vector team can access them. So
just showing one more time. I know it goes a little fast. Okay, so for iPhone people, showing one more time how to do this. Go to your settings.
General at the top of the 3rd section.
General.
Select VPN and Device Management in the 3rd to last section.
Should be right at the bottom, the VPN Device Management.
Select Vector Marketing Corporation. Select Trust Vector Marketing Corporation. And then select Trust in the pop-up.
Okay.
This is necessary because Vector is an enterprise app of a Vector team. To load, and then select Open File.
This is for Android. It's just a little simpler, but here it is.
To load, and then select Open File. Select Install, and then select Open. We can now launch the app from the home screen. Afterwards, we see.
So just so I know where everybody's at, because I like to make sure we take this step by step, not leaving anybody behind. If you have this downloaded, like you're able to open up the app, go ahead and put downloaded in the chat box. Thank you, Damien. He's like, it's here. I can do it. Okay. Perfect. Okay, looks like you guys are all set. So, continuing on now. Does everybody know where their rep number is in the email or text message that we sent you? It'll say either rep number or recruit ID. Yes? Good? Everybody can see that? Most of you hesitant nods. Okay, good. Yeah, good. Thanks. Nana, I appreciate you. Okay.
In the sign-in page, which asks you for your rep number. Entering that in and then selecting register, it reveals a field to enter your last name.
So don't click sign in. Make sure you hit register because you don't have an account yet. We're making your account. So you'll put your rep number in, click register, and then put your last name in.
We'll want to use the same exact last name that we entered in our terms of training on day 1. Once we fill that out and selected next, we're taken to the password creation page. First, create a password that meets the listed requirements, then re-enter it in the second password field to confirm. Once all the requirements are met, select Set Password. From there, we're taken to the Setup Profile page, which lets us customize how your profile will show up on MyCutco Rep. We'll cover the details of using MyCutco Rep in a later section. First, we'll set a profile picture to present to each customer. Select Take Selfie or Select Photo. Grant access to your camera and or your photo library. Take the picture or select the photo. Adjust the cropping. Select Save in the bottom right corner, and then select Upload. If you'd like to adjust how your name will appear to your customers, you can do so now. For example, I signed up for the job using my first name, but I'd rather go by my middle name. From there, write a bio that tells each customer a little more about you.
Do you guys remember when I had you write out your personal story yesterday? Or you started it at least? Yes, okay. So I would just write that same personal story in your profile right here, because then it's consistent and it's the same thing that they're going to see. All right, so just take your personal story that you wrote in your demonstration notes and add that to your bio here. The photo, I know, always takes the longest. It does not need to be the most professional, polished photo you've ever taken, okay? It just needs to be one that you're okay with your customer seeing, okay?
If you plan on doing demos in Spanish or French, you can write your bio in each of those languages as well. Just select the tab for the language and fill out the field. Finally, you can
Okay, so once you guys have finished this, you've taken a selfie, put your preferred name, okay, and then you put a bio in the chat box, in the profile section, and then you click save, go ahead and put done in the chat box. Okay, so once you have finished your whole profile, just put done in the chat box, just so I know that everybody's finished up on this section. So I'll give you guys a little bit of time. Okay, so right here, this is where you should be. Bio, language, preview text, and then make sure you've modified anything you need to, and then click save. Once you have clicked save, you finished everything, put done in the chat box. I'll give you guys a little bit of time here. And if you're having any problems, let us know so we can help you out. Like I said, once you're done, just put done. Thank you, Nana. Jelena. Perfect. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Abby. Okay. Looks like you guys are all almost done. Give you about 1 more minute here. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and continue on. If you're still working here, that is okay, but I am just going to go ahead, continue on. Once you have finished, you click save, okay? Then you're going to want a pop-up that's going to show up.
Select Save in the top right corner. The app will then ask you to grant access to the contacts on your device. This will enable you to import your contacts from your device into the app so you can sort them and find prospects for your appointments. This won't allow the app to modify these contacts on your device, however, it will be able to update any contacts that you make using the app in the future. Select OK to grant access. Finally, the app will ask you to grant access to the calendar on your device. This is optional, but doing so will automatically sync your scheduled appointments to the calendar on your device. Select OK to grant access to this. Once this is done, you'll land on the device contacts page. In the next section, we'll cover how to sort the imported contacts and list out your prospects. Thanks for watching.
Oh, okay, perfect. So the next video we're going to get into is sorting contacts. Okay, so as he said, the reason that we do this is because I'm sure, Nana, there's a whole bunch of contacts in your phone that you're not gonna call. Hey, like they're unqualified, they're friends, anything like that. Like you're not gonna call them. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, and so instead of having to siphon through your whole entire contacts, like who do I want to call, and you have to like scroll through everybody, we just want to organize your contacts of people that you could do an appointment with. Not that you every single one you will, but anybody you could do an appointment with, and move them over to the prospect section. That way you can just look at this list. Okay, because I know I've had representatives before, like one of my old reps, Bobby Wright. For some reason, her contacts were all synced up with her whole entire family, which means she had 2,000 contacts in her phone. So every single time she went to go make phone calls, it was kind of a pain in the butt. And she was like, I really don't want to. She'd have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And it was just such a hassle. She never wanted to make phone calls. But once the app came out and she was able to organize everything, yes, it was a super tedious process to have to go through and organize everybody. But once it was done, it was done. And she didn't have to do it again, okay? And so then every single time she made phone calls, she was way more efficient because all she had to do was just go into her prospects and then just queue up who she wanted to give a call to. So that's why we're going to have you guys sort them. Like I said, doesn't upload them anywhere. It doesn't change anything on your end in your phone. It just allows us and allows you to be more organized. Okay? So let's get into that one.
Welcome to the Vector Impact tutorial series. In the last section, we downloaded and set up Vector Impact for the first time, as well as imported your device's contacts. Now we'll get these contacts sorted. We'll start off on the page titled Device Contacts. If you aren't there yet, select the More tab and then Device Contacts from the list. To mark a contact as a prospect, swipe right on their row. If you did this by accident, swipe right again to undo. Once a prospect is marked, we can fill out their demographics. You can set whether the prospect is married by selecting the checkbox next to their wedding ring emoji, each selection cycling through checked for married, unchecked for not married, back to question mark for I don't know. You can set whether the prospect is a homeowner by selecting the checkbox next to the house emoji, which cycles through homeowner, not homeowner, and I don't know in a similar fashion. The hourglass emoji represents the prospect's age range, and selecting it will cycle through the 30 to 64, 65 and over, and 29 and under ranges before toggling back to I don't know.
So we don't have to focus on this right now, but it is nice to set your demographics because obviously now you can start to figure out who are your best customers, who are like your A, B, C customers. You can kind of start to rank them because obviously if, Damien has somebody on his contact list that's married, owns a home, and is over the age of 30, well, that's probably somebody that he wants to see first versus somebody who's not married, single, and lives in an apartment, okay? And is like in their 20s. Like he can be able to kind of rank these on who his best prospects are going to be.
For contacts that represent a business, swipe left on their row. Swipe left again to undo. Once we've marked all desired contacts as a prospect, we can see them listed out on the Prospects tab. Prospects can come from 3 sources. The first is from your device contacts, which we just saw. Another is from customers that send you referrals using My Cutco Rep. And we can also add prospects manually. To do that, select the plus icon in the top right corner to pull up the new prospect form. Enter their first and or last name, as well as their phone number if you have it.
And then you would just save it. Okay, so very simple on how to do all of this, but I do want to give you guys some time. And biggest tip I can give you guys when it comes to going through and organizing your contacts, okay? Biggest tip is do not rush. Take your time on this, okay? Go through, make sure you move everybody over, okay? Because right now we're just focusing on, just like when Tommy did his brainstorm exercise with you guys yesterday, he said, hey, minds are like parachutes and they only work when they're open, okay? This isn't a list or you organizing every single person that you're gonna do a demonstration with. This is a list organizing everybody you could do a demonstration with. Okay, you want to move all these people over to prospects because I don't want Sam to be sitting on his phone and being like, "Ooh, I should call this person," and then be like, "Oh no, I forgot, I didn't move them to prospects," and he has to go back into the prospect side. He has to move them over so that he can keep these all organized. All right, I want you guys to just get everybody over there. Anybody that could be done a demonstration with over the age of 30 and working, move them over to prospects. That's it. Okay, this is the bare minimum. Over the age of 30 and working, move them over to prospects. Okay, and then we can start to label who your best customers are. All right, so like I said, we're going to give you guys some time to go ahead and work on this, start organizing your contacts, go through it once, go through it twice, maybe even a third time if you have to. Make sure you get everybody over, okay? So I'll put some music on, let you guys focus on that. Perfect. So I'm sure some of you are not like done. You may want to go through one more time, finalize some stuff. I appreciate you getting mostly done in training, okay? But like I said, make sure you get all of that stuff polished up. Utilize the plus button as well. Go sit down with like family if you need to, because I'm sure some of you don't have all of the contacts in your phone, okay? So sit down with family, click that plus button, start adding them all in there so that you guys can have everything in one place. Because I promise you don't want to go back to how Tommy and I were doing stuff where we had like 42 notebooks all over the place, okay? Where it was like, okay, cool, I got some here, I got some here. I remember even Leo would call me and be like, oh, man, Christina, he's like, I can't make phone calls. He would come to the office, he'd be like, I can't make phone calls. And I was like, why? And he's like, I forgot my notebook. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you can't. And like, that was it. And it was just like, sucks to suck, okay? Where now you guys have it all in one place, okay? You can easily utilize this, and that's why I want to make sure you put them all in this app, okay? Keep yourselves set up so you can work smarter, not harder. Next, what we're going to get into is we're going to talk about scheduling, all right? Just so I know, who here already has some form of designated planner, okay? Paper planner, Google Calendar, iCalendar, something you already use. Yes, a couple of you? Okay. Some of you are like, nah. And that's fine, okay? So if you already have a designated planner, go ahead and pull that out, okay? Passion Planner, whatever it is. If you already have one, pull it out, your Google Calendar, iCalendar, all your good stuff. If you don't have one, just pull out a scrap piece of paper. And if you don't have one, just pull out a scrap piece of paper. I am going to share a schedule with you guys. How many of you feel real confident with like Google Sheets? Couple of you. Okay, cool. So if you would like to, you can also use this. I know some people aren't, and I don't really want to explain everything on how to use Google Sheets. But if you do feel comfortable with Google Sheets or Excel, okay, this is a schedule that's already pretty much made for you guys. Has everything built in there with training times, all the optional events that we have, team events, everything is built into this schedule, so you guys can use this. Some of you may just want to have a copy of it, not because you're going to use it, just so you can have a copy of it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, share this with you guys as well. Give me 1 second to fix something. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'll put this in the chat as well. So this is the fast start schedule that we have that, like I said, you guys can use. I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat box so you guys can make a copy of this if you would like to, just so you have everything that's coming up, all the optional events as well. Okay, the way you would make a copy is all you have to do is just click File and make a copy. Okay, and so now you have a version of this. You can edit it, do whatever you would like on there. Okay. So one other thing I'm going to share with you guys, 1 second, is your toolbox, okay? So this is going to be your new rep toolbox, and it's going to have everything that you need all in one place, all right? So let me go ahead and get you the link for this one as well. My URLs and toolbox. Okay, and I'll show you what this looks like. Perfect. So let me go ahead and show this to you guys. So this is your rep toolbox. I'm updating it with a couple other things, like a Google Meet one, so you guys can have it, because we have using Zoom 101 on there. There's the fast start schedules already linked, how to make a schedule, communication guidelines, how to get more appointments, 8 steps to the demo flow, goals page, vector impact, all of this is in here, okay? So I did just put the link in there. The only thing that I want to focus on right now is how to make a work schedule. So if you don't want to use the fast start schedule here, like I said, it already has everything built in, training from 1 to 5:30 today, tomorrow 10 to 2:30, advanced training, team event, all the optional events that we have, okay, all of this is already built in there. If you don't want to use this, like I said, just pull out a scrap piece of paper, and we're going to go through the steps of making a schedule, okay? That's what we're going to go through, is making a schedule. So I just want to make sure that everybody has something that they're going to work on right now, whether that be your paper planner, Google Calendar, or just a scrap piece of paper. Okay, but we are actively going to work on this section right now, because I want you guys to make your schedule for the first 4 days working here. And I want you to make your schedule here for your first 4 days. So let's get into it. So to begin, you need a schedule. If you're using paper and pen, set up your first 4 days. This is going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, so draw like 4 columns if you need to. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. All right. And the first thing you always want to do when you're making a schedule is you want to block out all commitments that must be done. Okay, so as you see here, block out all commitments that must be done. So an easy one is obviously training. So tomorrow we have training, okay, from 10 to 2:30. Okay, that is a commitment. You have to do that so that you can finish up training. So we're going to block that out. Okay, we're going to put an X through that time from 10 a.m. to 2:30. We would block that on our schedule. Like I said, you could do an X in your schedule, whatever you need to, but just make sure you have that blocked out so you don't overbook yourself. Another thing that could be in a commitment, this could be, maybe you have classes. Maybe you guys started classes sooner than some other people did. Okay, maybe you have another job. Maybe you have sports practice, studying, church, family obligations. You got to take a kid to a doctor's appointment, anything like that. Okay, block out all commitments that must be done. Put that in your schedule for the first 4 days. You don't need to worry about anything past that. We're just going to focus on a little bit of your schedule right now, because this is going to be your first paycheck, and we want to influence your first paycheck. Okay, so go ahead and put in any commitments you have. You guys a little bit of time to do that. Okay, so like I said, everything. Practice. Maybe you have a game night. I don't know, that you do every single Friday or Saturday night. Okay? Anything that's important to you guys, put it in your schedule. The biggest reason I've noticed that people get overwhelmed or they feel like stuff is just happening to them is because they're not making a schedule. And so then things really are just happening to them. They just pop up and they're like, oh my God, I didn't even know. Oh, I totally forgot this. Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so stressed out. And it's because they're not making a schedule. Okay? That's how you double book yourself. So make sure you use your schedule. My mom used to always laugh at me because I never used one until I started working here. So now I'm like super tedious with it. I use a Google Calendar. That's the one that I personally use. I've gotten my whole family on the Google Calendar, okay? Because it's shareable, and I'll show you guys how you can do your demos from there as well. Okay, since most of you will be using Google Meet, I'll be showing you guys how to do it. Awesome. Everybody have their commitments blocked out for the first 4 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Perfect. So next what you want to do, typically in a schedule, is then you would block out things that are important but can be moved. Okay? Typically, this is going to be appointments. Now, if you were in school, this would also be like study time. That's important, but it can be moved. Okay? So what we've done in this schedule already is we've just put dollar signs. This is dollar signs of everywhere you could do an appointment. Okay, now, Nana, does this mean that you have to do an appointment like on all of these dollar signs? No, of course not. Okay, this is just everywhere she could do an appointment. So now she knows what her open availability is. So when she's on the phone booking appointments, she knows, okay, cool, I could do an appointment Friday at 4:30, or would 6 be better for you? That's why we want to mark all of the open dollar signs. And you're going to do these every 90 minutes. Okay, so everywhere where there's an open space. So let's say I had in my schedule, okay, church and game night. Okay, let's say I had in my schedule church and game night. I don't have another job. These are the only things I have going on. Okay, so every 90 minutes around these things, I'm going to go ahead and put in a dollar sign. Okay, so I'd put one here, here, here. Now, these we're just going to pretend like they aren't there. Okay, so we're just going to pretend like the dollar signs aren't here because I have game night. I love game night with my family, and I never miss a game night. Okay. So these are going to be spaced out 90 minutes. The reason they're going to be spaced out 90 minutes is because your first couple demos are going to be longer than you expect. Okay? Your first couple demos are going to be longer than you expect. Why do you think your first couple demos are going to be longer than you expect them to be? Any guesses? Yeah, you're brand new. Yeah, for sure. Any other guesses? Don't know everything yet? One of the biggest ones, it's going to sound kind of mean, is that you're doing demonstrations with people that you know. And what do people that you know like to do? They like to talk. Yeah, you guys all know. Half of you are already like this. You're like, oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, they like to talk. I can always tell when you're on the phone with your grandma because you're just sitting here doing this. Like, that's it for just like 10 minutes. And I'm like, Abby's booking an appointment with her grandma. Like, she hasn't stopped nodding for like 5 minutes, okay? Imagine how long the appointment is going to be now, all right? It's going to be a lot longer than you think. And so I want to make sure that you guys have breathing room, okay? I don't want you to feel like you're being rushed because sometimes people think they're being more efficient. Damien, I don't think you're going to do this. But, maybe Damien is sitting here and he's like, I'm going to book them all an hour apart. Christina doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm trying to get in every single time slot, okay? An hour apart. But what happens is if he's late to one of those appointments, well, now he's late to all of them, okay? And even though it's your family, it's still unprofessional, okay? And you don't want to get into bad habits. Keep them spaced 90 minutes apart because I doubt Sam's going to be sitting here like, oh my gosh, I have an extra 30 minutes before my next appointment. How dare I have breaks? Okay? I don't think he's going to be mad. All right? So give yourself that wiggle room because if you need the full 90 minutes, great, you have it. Okay? And if you don't, well, now you have some break time. Cool? So space them all out 90 minutes apart. I'll put the schedule back up. I know most of you are already looking at it. Okay? But this is where you could put the dollar signs. If I'm being honest, I would not put the one right after training. I'd give yourself some breathing room. Okay? And so I would do a 4:30, I would do a 6, 7:30, and a 9 o'clock. And then same thing, I would start day 1, 9 a.m., and then just go every 90 minutes. Okay, just go every 90 minutes. So go ahead, put the dollar signs in your guys' schedule for your first 4 days. Once again, just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, around the things you have going on. Tommy, are we doing advanced training with the division?
I think we should do it at that time just in case.
Okay. So for now, put in your schedule 10 to 12:30. If there are any changes, we'll let you know. If there are any conflicts, let us know. Okay. Once you guys have your dollar signs in your schedule, put a dollar sign in the chat box. Thank you, Jordan. Okay. Thank you, Abby, Jelena, Sam. Like I said, just the first 4 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay. Perfect. So, once you've put in all of your dollar signs, you've marked them every 90 minutes apart, next what you're going to do is you're going to pick a goal for how many appointments you want to do. Okay? Pick a goal for how many appointments you want to do based off your schedule. So, looking at mine, I have 4 availabilities on Friday, but I only want to do 3. Okay? That's my goal for Friday. Saturday, it looks like I have 6. Okay? I have 6 availabilities on Saturday, but I don't want to do this one because it's super close to game night and I'm not an early bird. So I decide that I want to do 4. Okay. Sunday, I have church. I want to do those, obviously. Okay. And it looks like I have another 6 openings that I could do, and I decide I want to do 4. Okay. And then Monday, I want to finish up the week strong. I learned a whole bunch of stuff after advanced training, and I want to make sure I apply it. And so I go for another 4 that day. Okay. So this now makes my goal 15. Okay, this now makes my goal 15 appointments that I want to shoot for this first weekend. If you want a range, okay, if you want a range of how many appointments typically people shoot for, at the minimum, most people shoot for 7 appointments their first weekend. Because if you do about 7 appointments, you're pretty close to hitting your first promotion. Okay? On average, people will do anywhere between 10 to 15 appointments their first weekend. And if you want to be the hardest worker on the Zoom, then I would say it's about 15 to 20. Okay? So, make a goal for each day, how many appointments you want to do. And the last thing is you want to now add these goals into the Vector Impact app. The last thing you want to do is you want to add these goals to the Vector Impact. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that in just a second. Does everybody understand how I came up with my goals on a day-to-day basis? Yes. Okay, perfect. You guys doing okay with yours? Perfect. So I'm going to show you then how to put these into the Vector Impact app. Can everybody see my phone screen right now? Okay. So this would be my Vector Impact app. You see it automatically pops up on schedule, but if you're not on the schedule page, just click the schedule button there. And then I'm going to click this pencil button in the top right-hand corner where it says breakdown. And I'm just going to add my goals. Obviously, I can't do demos in the past, okay? I'm not a time traveler, so I can't do Tuesday, Wednesday, or today demos because I haven't started yet. But I can put in Fridays, 1, 2, 3. Saturdays 4, Sundays 4, and Mondays 4. And then I'm going to click save. And now my goals are updated and my manager knows what I'm shooting for this week. Because as I said, we just want to hold you guys accountable to the goals you set for yourself. But if you don't have a goal, it's kind of hard for us to hold you accountable. Okay, so go ahead, put those into the app. And we'll check on our end to make sure that everything's all set. Tommy, if you want to pull up your web PDI as well, make sure everybody's doing well. Okay, and I have yours. Thank you.
Abby, I have yours. Jelena, I have yours. Jordan, Damien, waiting on yours. I'm gonna refresh here and see if they went through yet. No, Damien's still waiting on you to put your goals in. Jordan's still waiting on you.
Sam, I have yours. Thank you. Okay, give you guys about 1 more minute. And then we'll wrap up with the last part that I have to go over, which is just how to make phone calls. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and continue on. If you need any help, once again, on how to figure out how to put your goals, let us know. I'm gonna show you guys one more thing on the Vector Impact app. Perfect. I know I've shown you guys a lot of the videos right now. Okay, this is how you guys look at the videos. Okay, all you have to do is click more, and then you're gonna go to tutorials. And in case any of the videos, like I went through too fast, you just want to re-watch them, once again, it's more and tutorials. And then all the videos I've gone over and the ones I'm going to go over tomorrow are also going to be here. Cool? So just so you can watch those at your own pace if you need to. So like I said, I'm going to talk about phone calls. All right? I'm going to talk about phone calls real quick, go through the script, and this will be the last thing that we're going to have you guys role play together so you can get more confidence with it. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. So on your manual, all you have to do is click the phoning button. Okay, the schedule that we showed you guys is right here. So it says click here for fillable schedule in case you didn't get the link. And then click here for great phone tips. So that's what I'm going to get into is the phone tips. I'm not going to go over all of them, just the ones that are most important for you guys to know today. Just because of the tech issues, we are just a little bit behind. So I'm only going to go over some of the most vital ones. All right. One is don't overemphasize Cutco on the phone. The purpose of your call is to schedule an appointment. You don't need to sell over the phone. You just need to schedule the appointment. Don't text to set up initial appointments because it's not very professional and leads to miscommunication. This does not mean that, Sam, you can't text at all. But what I want you guys to avoid is sending a huge block of text instead of just calling somebody, okay? If you need to text them like, hey, Abby, are you free for a quick call? That's perfectly fine, okay? If you need to finish some stuff over a text, that's perfectly fine, okay? But I don't want the whole interaction to be over text. This is a big one, okay? Is always give a choice of 2 times, okay? Always give a choice of 2 times. The best way to do it. What time is better for you? This time or this time? Or what day is better for you? This day or this day? Saturday or Sunday? You never want to ask somebody, when can I show you? Or do you want to see my demonstration? Because these are yes or no questions. And the first one's the worst because it actually puts the customer in control of your schedule. Okay, how many of you started this job because of the flexibility? Okay? Almost all of you. Okay? You started the job because of the flexibility. You're like, oh, I love that. If you ask your customer, when can I show you? You're putting them in control of your schedule, and it's not that flexible anymore. Okay? You always want to make sure you're in control of your schedule and you're giving them times that they can pick from that work already for you. Okay? So make sure you give a choice of 2 times. What time is better for you? 3 or 6? What day is better for you? Saturday or Sunday? This also comes into play in just everyday life. It's actually one of my favorite things to use just now is, have you guys ever been stuck in the loop before with either a significant other or a friend where you ask them, hey, where do you want to go eat? And then they go, you guys know, hey, I don't know. Where do you want to go eat? And then you want to kick them in the face. So that's why this is really, really helpful. I've actually used this so much with my wife now, okay, that she gets mad when I don't do this. Okay, now this doesn't work with food, because if I ask my wife, where do you want to go eat, this place or this place, the answer is sushi. It doesn't really matter what the options are. The answer is sushi. Okay, but it does work with shows, okay, where I'll ask my wife, hey, do you want to watch Moon Knight or do you want to watch The Boys? Okay, do you want to watch This Is Us or do you want to watch Owl House? Okay, I give her 2 options of things I already wanted to watch and just let her pick from those. Okay, there was one night where I just asked her, hey, what do you want to watch? And she just looked at me and she was like, no options. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, how dare I? Okay, and so this works all the time now, and it makes things so much faster. And this works with friends as well. Okay, Damien, real quick, I'm just gonna do this with you. Okay, I try not to be difficult. I can sense the mischievousness, the villain inside you. Okay, but super simple, super simple. Hey, Damien, do you want to go get burgers or tacos?
Tacos.
Tacos. Okay. Do you want Roberto's or do you want Don Tortacos?
Roberto's.
Roberto's. Awesome. We're done. Okay. That's it. There you go. You see how simple this is? Thank you so much, Damien. Okay. Super simple. So that's all I gotta do is give 2 options. Okay. Let them pick from those and give another 2 options until we get to the answer. That's it. All right. And this comes in handy once again with your appointments as well. Give 2 options because people like options. They don't like a lot of options. Okay, if I ask Abby, hey, what are you doing on Saturday? Now she has to think of everything that she has going on Saturday versus me just saying, hey, does 3 or 6 work better for you? All she has to do is think of what she's doing at 3 and what she's doing at 6. Oh, I'm free at 6. Yeah, 6 works for me. Cool. This will make you more efficient. That's the one I'll linger on the most. Set up a specific time. How many of you have flaky family members? I know you do, okay? I do too. Awesome, okay? Set up a specific time. There is no 7-ish. There is no call me whenever. I'll be available. It's not gonna happen, okay? That appointment's not happening. Make sure you set a firm time with them, all right? You guys all know. My aunt rescheduled on me 4 times. The one with the no touch room, the same lady, okay, rescheduled on me 4 times. And it's because I didn't firm up with her and I didn't set a specific time. She just kept saying, yeah, just call me on this day, I'll be free. And she was never free, okay, until I set up a firm time and explained why it was important to me. Cool? Text if there's no answer. Hey, this is Christina, Digna's daughter. I have a quick question for you. Are you available? Super simple, straight to the point. Call in waves because people are going to be available at different times of the day. Okay, you're going to be able to reach some people in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. Call at different times. Phoning equals working. Once your appointment is set, you're done working. Now it's time to have fun, do the demos. Urgency. Let your customer know you are committed to your goal and you have a deadline. And importance. Let your customer know how important your demo is to you. They'll see you right away and they won't reschedule on you last minute. Okay? So let's go over the phone approach real quick. I'm just going to read it to you guys and then I'll have you guys practice, okay? So if I'm doing this with my Uncle Jordan, hey Uncle Jordan, this is Christina, how are you? Great. Perfect. Okay, he said great with his thumb. So great. How are you? Awesome. And then I'm gonna catch up. Okay, I'm gonna ask, how's the family? How are the kids? How's the wife? Blah blah blah. I'm just gonna catch up a little bit. How you been doing? Okay. Well, the reason I'm calling is I just started a great new job showing Cutco, and as a part of my training, I'm required to put on some initial training appointments. So you don't have to get anything because I get paid just to show it, and I do presentations right over the phone, and you just need to be in front of a laptop or a computer at home. I want to do whatever your goal was, okay? I want to do 15 appointments by Monday to hit my goal, so I want to know if I could schedule a call Saturday at 3 or at 5:30 be better for you, okay? Say he says 5:30, perfect. So Saturday at 5:30, thanks a ton. This really means a lot to me. Do you have a piece of paper and a pen nearby? Perfect. If you could just jot it down that we'll be having our appointment Saturday at 5:30, Vanessa be available too? And he'd be like, yes. Now, if he said no, I give a new time. Okay, if he was like, oh yeah, no, she won't be there, I'd be like, okay, cool, no worries. Okay, I actually get double credit when I do a demonstration with both the husband and wife. When would be a time that you guys would be available? Is it just a bad day or a bad time? Just give new times. Okay, one more quick thing. Can I get your email so I can send you the Zoom or Google Meet link? Thanks so much for helping me with this. I'm really looking forward to catching up, and I know this doesn't mean a lot to you, but it means a ton to me. Thank you so much. I'm going to send you the confirmation email, and I'll text you a reminder, and then I'll see you on Zoom at exactly 5:30, so please don't forget about me. Okay? And that's it. Very simple. Now, last question I have. Do you think your friends and family are going to know that you're reading? Okay, it's funny because people always shake their head and they go no. Okay, and so I have this question follow up with. Okay, Nana, do you talk like this? No. Okay, so yes, they will know you're reading. Okay, is that a bad thing though? No. Okay, it's really not that bad because in the demo you're literally gonna say, hey, I'm reading from my manual. Is that okay? And then they go yes. Okay, and in the script right here you tell them, hey, I just started this job. And so it's not like it's just like you've been working here for 10 years and it's really weird. Okay, no, you just started. It's okay if they know you're reading. When I did the demonstration with my mom, I flat out told her on the phone, I went, hey mom, I have to read from the script so I can get better, so just follow along. And she went, okay. And I went, okay. And then I read it to her. It's not that big of a deal, all right? It helped me practice, helped me get better at it. So just follow the script. Are people gonna poke at you a little bit? Yes. Is that okay? Yeah, it's no big deal, okay? Because last thing in here before I put you guys in breakout rooms is you have any questions your customers may ask you. What is Cutco? I already own Cutco. That time doesn't work. How long does it take? All of this is gonna be here. And they're probably gonna ask you right when you ask for the time. Okay, but everything you need is right here in the script. You don't have to make anything up. Don't reinvent the wheel. You have it all. All right, so we're gonna put you guys into breakout rooms for about 5 to 7 minutes so you guys can practice the script. Okay, this one, whoever's birthday is coming soonest will go first. Okay, oh, I know, you guys learn so much about each other, heights and everything. Okay, whoever's birthday is coming soonest will go first. I guess you're going first, okay? So whoever's birthday is coming up first is gonna go first, and then you guys will just switch. Cool? So play full out, as I've said every single time, because that's the best way for you guys to learn. I'm gonna open up the rooms. Same rooms as last time. Last couple things I wanted to get into. Okay, right here, so right underneath the phone approach, okay, and the objections, there's also a little link it's going to be one of your guys' assignments is to watch this video. So this is Stacy Barden. She is a Cutco Hall of Fame rep. She sold over $1 million while she was in school. At the time of this recording, I think she was at like $500,000 in sales, but she basically teaches you with the exact same phone approach how she makes phone calls, her setup, everything. So I would watch it. It's like 10 minutes, but you can speed it up just like I've showed you guys before. So highly recommend this because it will be an assignment. Cool. Last thing that I want to show you guys is how to make phone calls with the Vector Impact app. Okay, I didn't get to show you how to put them into your Google Calendar or like do a Google Meet link. I'll show you guys that tomorrow just for time's sake. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. There we go. How to make phone calls here. So all you have to do is you're going to click the Phone Now button. When you click the Phone Now button, all you have to do is click Specify Prospects. Tommy, I realize we didn't go over Max.
Super quick.
Sure.
So just so you guys know, we have a target market, people that buy the most often, right? Every company has a target market. Like when you think of like golf clubs, who do people like? What kind of people buy golf clubs? People that play golf, right? When you think about the company Nike, their advertising is tailored towards athletes, right? Now, do only athletes purchase Nike? No, but that's their primary demographic. That's the people that buy the most and buy the most often. And so that's what they tailor their advertising to. That's the bread and butter. That's the one that put them on the map and made them money. Same thing with Cutco. We have a target demographic of people that buy the most and buy the most often. They're called MAC customers, M-A-C, MAC customers. M stands for married. Married couples are better than single people because who do you think cooks more? Married couples, right? Generally, married couples also have more income. They're doing more cooking. They have more value for the product, right? A stands for age. The age range is between 30 to 65. We draw the line at 30 just because we have to draw a line somewhere. And generally they're more established, they have more savings, they need to do more cooking. If they're over 65, kind of use your best judgment, right? Like you kind of want to judge grandma based on birthday cards, right? Grandma hooks you up with $5. Of course, you're showing grandma, but maybe wait till after your advanced training on Monday so you can have more experience and have more training. If grandma gives you like 20 to 50 bucks, for sure show grandma. Has anybody gotten over $100 from a grandma or like family member? Great. She's a saint. She should be one of your first appointments out of training. By the way, does she have to buy anything from you? No. But if she does, are we going to hook her up with a great deal? Hell yeah. She's going to get the second best deal out of anybody in your prospects list. The first best would be mom, right? Mom's getting the best deal, of course, because mom. And C stands for casa. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, it means they live in a house, right? With the current market, doesn't matter if they own or rent it. If they live in a house, they're a great prospect, all right? Because would you guys agree that people have a different mentality living in an apartment versus living in a house? Yeah, like do you think people are investing long-term in quality things for the home in an apartment? No, right? But they will for a house. So our best prospects have all three. They're married, they're over 30, and they live in a house. That's who we're focusing on showing this weekend, right? We want to set you up with layups and set you up for success. Because even if you don't feel like your list is super hot and you show your best 5 MAC customers and they introduce you to 5 new prospects each, by the time advanced training comes on Monday, like Nana, you'll have 25 quality MAC customers that you'll show the product to. Because the birds of a feather flock together, right? People that are similar hang out with similar people. So if you show a bunch of Macs, they're going to recommend you to other Macs. And that's how you build a quality clientele, right? That being said, if you're looking at your list like, Tommy, I'm not sure if I have a ton of Mac customers to show, then you can show, so Macs are like A tier customers. If you need to drop down to a B tier customer, I would show somebody that's married and over 30 or that's over 30 in a house. I would not show a single guy that's over 30 that lives in a house though, right? Nothing against him, but he just doesn't have as much value as a single lady living in a house, okay? Everybody got it? Cool. So again, this weekend we're focusing on Mac customers. If you feel like your list isn't super spicy, focus on married couples over 30 or over 30 in a house. Cool? Cool.
Okay, perfect. So real quick, just going to show you guys this. So as I said, if you're in the Vector Impact app, you're going to go ahead and click Phone Now. Okay, you're going to go ahead and click Phone Now, and then you would click Specify Prospects. So as Tommy had already gone through and he talked about who a Mac customer would be, you would want your top 5 to be composed of Macs, okay? Or at bare minimum, a B customer, okay? So it means they have at least 2 of these things, all right? So that's what I would go through is label your top 5, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you know what's really cool about how you label your top 5 is that these are going to queue up, just like if you were queuing up music, it's gonna come up in the order that you wanted to call them. Okay, so we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once you have your top 5, please put top 5 in the chat box. Thank you, Abby. Abby was ready. She was like, I already knew. I was prepared. I've been thinking about this. Okay, thank you, Jelena. Nana, love it. Sam, perfect. Okay, some of you are still figuring it out, but I'm going to go ahead and continue on. So once you have your top 5 ready, you're going to click Start Phoning 5 Prospects, okay? And then you're going to have an option to click Call. And you see when it says Call, there's going to be a little pop-up right there on my screen, okay, where it's like, okay, cool, I can call this person. And then I'm going to click Book Appointment. So if I book the appointment with them, I click Book Appointment. I go ahead and put Start. I'm going to do it Saturday at 6:30. And then I'll click Done, and it'll have an automatic end time. It's virtually, and then it's English. Now, do you guys see right here where it says prospect email? Okay, you're not gonna put their email right here. You're just gonna write it down on a piece of paper for now, and I'm gonna teach you guys tomorrow how to put them into Google Calendar so you can set up a Google Meet. All right, so don't put them into the right here. Don't put the email right here because it's gonna give them a link to a different demo, and we don't want that. Right? We're not going to send them a link to another demo, so don't put the email right there, and then I would just click Save. And then automatically, the next person's going to come up, okay? So now, instead of the person that I had called, okay, we're going to go ahead and go to the next one, okay? And then I'll go ahead and click Call. If I had to schedule a callback, I could. If they didn't answer, I write that. If it was the wrong number or declined to meet, then that's what I would click. There's also an option to text them. So if they didn't answer, remember I told you guys that you can text them. Hey, Addison, this is Christina. Just wanted to reach out. Okay, see if you can help me with something I'm working on. Can I give you a quick call? Cool. And that is it. That's how you make phone calls in the app. So I'm going to go ahead and have Tommy take over to kick you guys off.
All right, so we're gonna have a focused power pack phone jam. We're gonna be focused on calling those best 5 customers, and that's it. All right. Who's excited to make their first phone call? Who's nervous to make the first phone call? Who's feeling both? You're just freaking out in general, right? That's totally normal, by the way. Like, you're totally fine, right? If you're nervous, just focus on reading the manual. And like, a good idea would be to call like mom or dad first if they're first on your list. So that way you can get phone numbers for people you don't have numbers for. If they're not in your top 5, call them after training. Okay, call them after training, get the phone numbers. But that being said, I'm going to count us down. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, go. We're all going to make our first phone call together because we do hard things as a team. And I find the hardest phone call to make is which one? It's the first one, right? So we're going to make phone calls till right at 5:30, and we'll talk about like some things to focus on tonight. Most of your phone time, the stuff that's going to make you the most income, is going to be after training today, right? Like, just because training's over doesn't mean you have to stop making phone calls, because everything you do after training is going to be what makes you money. But also, like, this job is on you guys, your guys' effort. So I want to make sure that you guys are in the right mental state. Like, hey, putting in that extra effort outside of training, that's what's going to make you the money, right? So that being said, let's count us down. All right. And every time you book a demo, make sure you mark it in the app and then type in the chat, boom 1, and then type boom 2, right? The goal right now, just to get your first demo on the board. We ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Dial, dial, dial. We got the manual up on the screen. Make sure you're reading from it. Let's get it. Every time you book a demo, post it in the chat. People are just gonna be like, nah, I don't want to do these. Most people, you just need to follow back up with them, right? But hey, solid job. A lot of you got your first couple appointments on the board. Love to see it, right? But again, remember, after training today and tomorrow morning before training is an opportunity for you to make more phone calls, book more demos, and hit your targets, right? And again, that's you. That's on your time. And the people that put in the most effort after training are the ones that are going to make the most income come Monday at advanced training. They're going to be the people that are like super pumped up. And so make sure you're in that boat, right? The effort you put in tonight is going to set you up for success long term. That being said, Christina, I'll throw it over to you. And then please mention parent paperwork as well, please.
Okay. So last thing is just some assignments. So let's go over that. Congratulations for those of you getting your first couple of appointments. Okay. And if you didn't reach anybody, as we said, there are different waves for a reason. Okay. Sometimes it's easier to reach people in the evening. Sometimes it's easier to reach people in the morning, and we'll have more phone time tomorrow. Okay. So first assignment is review pages 8 and 9 in your manual. Go through these 3 times. It's only 2 pages. Go through this 3 times. Say it out loud. This is the close. This is where you're going to want to be the most confident. Keep growing your list of Macs. Add them to the Vector Impact app. Sit down with mom and dad. Add those so you can continue to grow this section. Book 2 to 3 more appointments. This will be wave 2 for you guys. Okay, like I said, different waves, call it different times. So this will be wave 2 is after training. Try to keep getting closer to your goal. Have your direct deposit info ready and your social security number ready. This does not mean you need to bring it or show it to us. You just need to know it for tomorrow when we're filling out paperwork. As Tommy said, if you are 17, okay, if you are 17, okay, that means you need to have your parents fill out some paperwork before you're allowed to fill out your paperwork. This pretty much is just them verifying that you're old enough to work here, okay, and it's giving you permission. That's literally it. They just need to verify that you graduated this year, okay. That's all. Okay, they probably would have already gotten this email, so just have them fill that out before tomorrow so that you can fill your paperwork out on time. Update us with your assignments tonight, okay? It's okay to call people up until about 9:30 tonight, so call us by 9 o'clock just so we know how you're doing, okay? This is a checkup from the neck up. Let us know that you're doing all right, okay? I love checkups from the neck ups just to make sure you're handling questions well, Okay. And then lastly, tomorrow, reminder, it is an early day tomorrow again. So we're going to be here 10 a.m. So you should hop on early, 9:45. Vector time is going to be 15 minutes early. And last thing, remember to watch the video on the phone approach page, the one that talks about how to make phone calls, because it's going to give you some good tips for that. All right. Of course, my dogs will bark at the last minute, but you guys are all set to go. If you need anything, go ahead, Tommy.
One last thing, everybody. So I know a lot of you booked appointments, but I don't see it in the app. So those of you that booked appointments, make sure you mark it down in the Vector Impact app. Remember, just put the customer's phone number in the app. Do not put their email in the app. You send them the Google Meet invite with the email, right?
I'll show you guys how to do that
Tomorrow.
Okay, so just write the emails down for now. Okay, but if you have any questions, hang back. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Okay, if you have